What is up, everybody? Okay, so this event I'm happy with in terms of like the animation updates and everything. That's all great. But man, is it boring. Hey Zerp, thank you for the 4-month resub. Thank you, dude. But this is such a vanilla event, and like there's just nothing fun in it. Now, you know, it could have a good challenge quest at the end and that kind of thing, but yeah, it's been really dull. I guess the upside though is it's been very easy to get the loot from, but I care more about gameplay than I do about loot, to be honest. That's the thing. It's hard for why though. I like how they have used America a lot, like a lot, but they don't ever add American servants. It's great. Good feeling. Anyway, it's really hard to show off units during this event because the stages are so easy. So it's hard to, like, hey, let's do a setup for X or Y, but then you don't, you know, just joke battles everywhere. Why are we in New York, though? New York City specifically. What is happening? Tengu in New York, yep. Oh, hi, Edmund. I guess somebody's fucking with our brain again. Or he's just showing up to be edgy and then leaving. Like, my job here is done. Boy, that's a transition. What is going on? Okay, free quests. Gotta be mission 43. I actually don't agree. I have read many of the event stories in FGO, and I find most of them fucking awful. I actually think most events are worse if you can read the story. Now, there are exceptions to that. There have been several events that had either just good stories or funny stories, but I would say overwhelmingly FGO event stories are trash. And it's because they have to make them pretty quickly, and I don't think they put that much effort into a lot of them. Like, they're not written half as well as something like Carnival Phantasm was, right? Because they don't have that kind of time put into them. So I actually actively dislike most of the event stories because they bore me to death, and it just makes it take so much longer to get anything done. Like on NA, I skip most of them these days because I'm like, this is crap. I guess we're probably going to need to do this free quest to unlock the next thing. But obviously stories are subjective, blah 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 blah. But yeah, in my opinion though, it's like it does not make events more bearable. It actually makes them worse. Like I'd rather just get past the dog shit. And it's like, it's not like every event is just really boring, easy farming nodes and then nothing interesting in the story. You know, plenty of events have fun fights. Like, even the frickin' 4.5 had a lot of fun, you know, side bosses and stuff. Not the best, but it was something. I mean, they've had plenty of events that are quite entertaining. I've just noticed whenever they want an event to be really new player friendly, they act like they can't even make optional, you know, harder content, which they can, but they just don't. Always funny. All these old units with their updated animations, but their hit count is still really low. Because they can't, a lot of them they can't. Like, Emiya, you know, they buffed Emiya's hit count, right? They took his art card from 2 hit to 3 hit. But they were able to do that without it really being a big deal because, you know, Emiya's gain rates weren't that high and really he needed it. Where a lot of other day 1 units that have really low hit counts, their gain rates are bullshit. Like, they're way high. So if you added extra hit counts, it would just be silly. So that's why it doesn't happen very often. Also, they're just lazy, and I don't just mean lazy in terms of, like, making the animations, because a lot of times they do make animations that are multi-hit. They don't want to, I strongly think, they just don't want to be bothered with thinking about, oh, what if this makes them have too much gain? What if it breaks something? Like, they just fuck it, you know, just make the hit count look better, but they don't change the actual hit count. I feel like they just don't want to put in the time. Yeah, imagine Carmella with a high hit count, or Steno, that'd be a mess. And Hans. Hans could probably have an art card, though, that had 1 higher hit count. That would be a big buff. Like, it would be a very big buff for him. But I think that would be okay. 3, though, would be absurd. That'd be too much. Do I NP this? Why not? Yeah, Sanson could definitely use the buff. Sanson very much could use the buff on his hit count. If he had a 3-hit quick, that would help him. It wouldn't fix him by any means, but it'd make his NP gain a little bit better. His Stargin still wouldn't be that good, but it'd be acceptable for having a triple quick deck. But they've already gone through some animation updates on units that could use a hit count buff, and they didn't buff them. So, really, I think one of the only times they're going to do it is when it is a unit like Emiya. Someone that's very popular, and at the time was kind of noticeably meh, and they could easily change the hit count and have it not be a big deal. So, I don't think it's going to happen much. This is just a farming stage. There's just a lot of extra reinforcements because that's how this event works. You bring CEs and it makes more enemies spawn. Which means you can't 3-turn them if you do that, but I think what a lot of whales do is they don't bring the extra spawns, and because they don't care about AP, and so they just beat the stage over and over faster, and that's better than the extra units. But that's not where my priorities are. I've always used Ushi in stage 3 because it's the least ridiculous. I gotta be clear about this. I don't like any of Ushi's stages. I like Ushi as a character, and I like her voice actress just fine, and I like her animations just fine, and her abilities are cool, and her gameplay is very good, but her clothes are dumb. And I'm not being Grandpa Green. I don't care if characters show skin. I do not care. That's fine. It's that it looks dumb. I always say this. It looks like she threw her clothes in a blender and then slapped them back on. It's like, that just looks silly, right? So not a fan. I don't think any of her stages look good. But stage 3 is a little bit better, I guess. Although it's kind of extra chaotic, so I don't know. Maybe not. I've never really thought about it. I always go with stage 3 because it's got the extra armor. But it does, I guess, make it look a bit more, even more bullshit everywhere, so I don't know, I'll have to look at it later. There's no winning with Ushi. I'm always hoping that Ushi gets a costume like Fuma did, then I'll be set. Hell, just give her Fuma's costume, right? They can share it, it's fine. She could do the hat. Cannon horses one. So, okay, here's the thing. I'm not being biased, right? So I get it. You got like Hercules and Beowulf and Leonidas, which are wearing even less than Ushi, right? It's not about how much you're wearing. That's not the problem. It's what it looks like and the vibe you're going for, right? So like with Hercules, you know, he's being a berserker, kind of just, you know, so it works, right? Like, and the clothing that is there is color coordinated. That actually is based on an actual thing people would wear, right? So it's fine, right? No, it's not. But imagine if Hercules. Let's change this. Imagine the brown cloth there is now blue, and then the trim at the bottom is yellow for some fucking reason, and then he has a shoulder pad that's white. Oh, but no shirt or anything, just a shoulder. That would look fucking stupid, right? And like that, I would be saying the same shit. Because like, Leonidas pulls it off because, you know, it's kind of the exaggerated vision people have of Spartans, and you got like 300, and it's still color coordinated, and you know, so it's okay, right? It's fine. You know, Uchishi's problem is not the skin exposure, it's like where it is and how it is. It's just dumb. It's just like an excuse to show off, you know, tits when there's no design to it, right? It's bad. Like her and Calamity Jane, and Calamity Jane's main problem is the colors. Holy crap! And then like I hate. This is so random, but I cannot stand that Calamity Jane has like that blue trim on her shoulder or on her like arm thing. When the blue and everything else in the costume is a different shade of blue. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, why do we need that many colors? Like Calamity Jane's pants are 3 colors. It's like, why though? Like you can show skin off and not look like a chaotic mess. Right? You can totally do that. Yeah, I've never had I don't know why people complain about Boudica so much, because, like, has no one read the actual stories and stuff? It's like, she was probably wearing less than that a lot of the time, but, yeah, the other stage 2 and 3 that are completely fine. My only issue with Boudica is it kind of made her boobs too big, and it's kind of just outrageous, right? Where, I never like when they have, like, really exaggerated proportions like that. Not really, just looks weird to me, but... Alright, we're still just farming, so we can just bring whatever. Even more extra spawns! I should probably bring a setup that makes at least a degree of sense, because... I don't want to, you know, die. Okay, she's almost Bond 5. You probably don't even need to get Bond 5, but I'll get Bond 5 before we stop bringing her. So, the colors in Calamity Jane Stage 2 is way better. I completely agree with that, it's way better. The reason I don't really like Stage 2 is because it's even more cheerleader, right? Like, way more. It's like the color scheme is fine, but like the pattern of it and everything, and it just 100% cheerleader, right? So it's like, okay, well, there's like no winning for Calamity Jane for me. Like, the character's fine, gameplay's great, you know, voice acting's fine, but oh my god, the stage is... Yeah, her and Uchi are like in the same boat, and it's a mess. Oh, look, it's Skillfest. I think this is referencing that, because it says Battle in New York in the back. I'm assuming that's what this whole little singularity is. It's like a pocket of the singularity from Battle in New York. And surely that's what's going on. Overkill combo, let's go. Yeah, then you have to fight Achilles again. I had so little experience with that last time, though. I don't even, like, know the fight that well. Oh, there's 5 enemies on this wave. I really like the Romulus CQ because it had, like, especially if you weren't choosing it and going super ham with the sports, there was a lot of, like, decisions being made turn to turn and think about what you needed to do 2 turns ahead, because you needed to let the buff wear off sometimes. So you have to remember, oh, in 2 turns I need to go boom, so I need to not, you know, hit Romulus. That was a pretty awesome challenge quests, and it allowed you to use a lot of different styles of unit, which I always like challenge quests like that, where they're hard enough, but you need to most importantly, you need to understand the gimmicks and then play around them. But then you're able to make a lot of different styles of team work, and like art, buster, quick, or no card specific, and a lot of different units. That's always like my favorite. And they're not that flexible. I don't like them as much, just because it's kind of like, well, we're all just doing the same thing, so there's different degrees of effectiveness. Yeah, those Roman stacks probably would. I would think so, because they did affect Boudica and things like that. Other things that triggered off of Roman that already existed worked, so I figured they would work. It'd be at that point though, you know, Romulus has a cap, and you're gonna be hitting the cap so easily because there's 3 enemy Romans on the other side. You know, then Romulus himself is a Roman, so that's 4 Romans all the time with no stacks going on, and of course there's going to be stacks going on. So, and then your own stacks. So 5 enemies again. Okay, Ku, don't mess it up. The icon is the same as the Roman icon that Romulus has now, though. Same thing, it's just the Roman shield. They've probably been messing around with the idea of how they were going to make, because they've obviously had Romulus planned for a long time. So back when they did that challenge quest, they were probably kind of getting, you know, people ready for the idea, because they had probably already messed around with it, I would think. I don't know why I'm bothering with the NP charge there. I don't think we're gonna NP again. Nice damage. I actually like that cannon animation on them. That's pretty cool. Might kill them all if we get lucky. Yeah, they're probably dead. 26k. I think the boss type I need to kill 5 more times. It looked like that's kind of rough. I like how I haven't tried to get Ku Bond on this account at all. Like, I never throw him in the back row just for Bond. And he's actually getting towards Bond 10. Like he's good or something. Wonder where Ushi is. That's not what I meant. Mission 65. Look, I already beat Mission 65. That amazing Ku Bond CE. Yep. Literally never used it ever. It's so bad. So this one procs like the least, so upgrading it probably is not the smart thing to do, but it doesn't really matter. I guess everyone benefits from this one. I presume you have to upgrade all of these eventually anyway, so... Alright, that's the only one left. The pacing on this event is fine, I'll say that. It's not quite as good as Saber Wars. I think Saber Wars had some of the best pacing for a mission event they've ever done. Like, really, you just do every free quest you unlock 5 times, and you're good, right? Like, you don't have to worry about anything. I actually have used it for solo on stream a few times. I've never used it in a video, but it's just so impractical. Like, it's so impractical. I mean, it's frustrating how not good it is, because like it's like, did they not run the math on this? Like, there's no world where you get any kind of decent value out of it, even if you are critting an abnormal amount. Like, because a lot of times those crits won't have the crit buff up yet, and you need a lot of the crit buff to make up for how bad the stats are and everything, and you have no other side effect. The Case Files was good too. It was about the same. I think Saber Wars had better side bosses though. That's my big beef with Saber Wars, not Saber Wars, with Case Files, is it didn't have any good side bosses really. It had a good final boss. The main, not the challenge quest, but the main final boss was good. Really enjoyed that. And then it had the challenge quest, and the challenge quest was very good, but that was it. Like all the side bosses that they had throughout that event were just so fucking easy. Where Saber Wars, you know, had the wanted quests, and you had the ones like with Caesar and stuff, and they had several that were, you know, pretty fun to mess around with. So that's the main reason I don't like Case Files as much. In terms of gameplay, I like Case Files a lot more thematically than Saber Wars. It's not even comparable. These don't normally drop anything really. $9.99 NP1. Why not? Go caster team. There will be regret. At least use a Rosh. I hope I get another K-Scope or I get the Sakura CE a few more times. Get a second CE with high starting NP. Alright, Hans needs the bond. Like how I'm bringing at least a somewhat competent team, and this is probably going to be a super easy stage. I have someone who has 3 level 100 units and they all have their bond CEs. That's so shit, dude. I hate when that happens. Why is Megalos here? Is this the Monster Queen from Lost Pelt 5? It's either that or Tiamat nonsense. Like the Gorgon stuff. Nine enemies. I feel like there's gonna be a better wave for a Rosh to go blammo on, so we'll wait. Not quite time here. Nice miss. Maybe get a Rosh to 200%. These Tengu mobs are pretty cool though. You definitely put more effort into those than like these Onis, right? 1 HP. Look at him evading. Why are they losing health every turn? It's like mimicking the... remember when the Mother of Monsters in Lost Belt 5 dies? All the monsters connected to it were losing health every turn and getting debuffed and stuff. I wonder if that's what they're referencing or if it's some other story nonsense. Alright, probably NP here. Not necessarily with a Rosh, but with somebody. Foot to the face, though. Take the stars first. I assume she's going to do the damage to kill everyone, so... maybe NP1, but can't be that bad. Chat, do you think we'll ever get a different version of Helena? She's kind of popular. And she's been in the game for a long time. I could see it happening. I don't know if they're like rushing to do it, but you know, if this game's gonna go on for a long time, I could see it happening eventually. Wow, there's only 4 enemies left. That's just sad. Well, Arash didn't quite make it. $159. If they used the original design, they would probably make it a different version. I don't think her current personality and everything would really line up with that. It's just, final dude's got 37k. Like, really? That's it? You insult me, game. She has so much damage this turn and we can't use it. I just hope Lost Belt 6 is somewhat soon. If I'd actually known that dropped those, I would have brought the gold boost. That was enough for it to actually be pretty good. Level 50 node, oh man. Thought with the bigger Helena. Let's go Helena Robin Hood, why not? This has a degree of synergy. Two years, they're not that bad. I should have watched that cutscene. What was that? I am curious what the hell they're... If this is Gorgon, Tiamat stuff, or if it's the Greek one. Or something else that I'm forgetting. And then Megalos is here. Hey, at least he has his guts thing. Probably not a lot of it, but... Why couldn't I have Art up? Looks like he only has 1 guts, so... Nothing special. So, I can overcharge Robin with Stella, or I can bring in Mozart for the buff. Guess we'll overcharge it with Stella just for funsies. This is where Switch Mystic Code would be good. Ow! Hey, Vol, what's up? We're getting crit. Maybe I do wait. Nah, we'll go boom. Maybe I don't Stella though. We got attack up and art up. Not that much. Nah, we'll Stella. And then we can art up Helena or something. Majin Buu, yeah. I mean, we don't have a canonical appearance of him yet, so... Not in full anyway. He only comes back with 50k? Really? Well, I think he's dead. Make these stars we don't need. This event, man. No fun allowed. That's pretty freaking respectable damage, though. I mean, all she has is her own buff and Mozart's buff. There's no event bonus there. That's AoE. Level 80 in P2. It's not like she's some, like, you know, level 100 in P5 or anything. That's quite respectable. And hell, she didn't have her NP up that she can have from her second skill. Rip Megalos. Costume win. Although if they ever added him, it'd probably be as his own unit, I would think. His animations and model don't line up, so we can't really make that a costume without a lot of work. And as such, they'll probably never add him on the playable side of things. Alright, so we can't move on yet. Oh, you know what that means, chat. I'm gonna do a story summon. CE! Not even helpful. Feels bad. That is the way of it, though. Damn. Dude, leveling Atlas is so pointless if you don't go all the way to 10. And it is nice at 10, it's just so much work. Today's PogChamp is almost good. The idea is good. But it's hard to see the expression. Yeah, I'm very glad that my main account does have Atlas at rank 10, but like no other account is going to go for it. Because while you bring it for farming and stuff, it does not help at all. It can help in challenge quests, sure, but it gains nothing every single level until the end, so... And it's 6, but... My main ult, that's a sentence, but my main ult account might get it to rank 6 at some point. Yeah, I love having it at 10 on my main, but it was so much work. I like how the Arctic MC got immediately power creeped. And then the thing that power creeps it is way easier to level, so it's all very silly. Well, at least they killed George. These guys probably only have 2 actions per turn, so if I kill one, they won't get to attack twice. Am I doing a free quest right now? I think I'm doing a free quest right now. There was no point in doing what I'm doing then. Well, honestly, the free quests are probably harder than the main story. And it's definitely been the way of it so far. Watch this Starjin. It's not too bad, all things considered. Just stop attack downing. The art card probably would have been better. Plug Suit is easy to level because at least it gives you a generic attack buff, which will help with farming, and sometimes switching helps with farming as well. So yeah, that one's pretty easy to level. Obviously the curve on it is shit, and it's not one that I would... It doesn't gain a lot per level either, so it's not one that I prioritize for a while. Generally on a new account, especially if it's free to play, I get default to 10, because that's very good. Then I get Anniversary Blonde to 10, and then I try to get Switch Mystico to like 3 or 4 at least. And then if I need to level anything else, then I start working on that. And then kind of, when I don't need to work on anything, I'll go back to working on Switch. That's overwhelmingly the way I do it. And then I make sure I unlock Atlas. Unlocking Atlas is like a top priority, but I don't give a fuck about leveling it because it's totally fine at level 1. Like, cause, you know, nothing changes. I don't know, maybe with the attack down, we don't kill the 79k one here, then we get to Art. I think that'll happen. What MP rank are we? Oh god, I think we might be MP5. I don't know, we might kill him, we'll see. How big is this attack down? They are very dead. Well, there goes my MP game. Oh, he's MP3, okay. It's really good damage then. Hey, Infinity Biscuit, thank you for the raid, dude. We are dicking around. That's a shame that because we killed that guy, we don't get to loop. Kind of disappointing. I think we don't hit Fionn because I don't want him to be low enough on health that he evades. That would kind of run everything. I shouldn't have done the debuff clear. They just gotta have that attack down. I should kill. Alright, I'm guessing we need to beat this stage to move on with the main story. Hey, if they had farming stages that had gimmicks, then Atlas would be kind of okay for some farming. Like if like, cause some gimmicks they cast debuffs before the turn starts, right? So things like that would be nice for. Alright, let's see how many times we have to actually do this nonsense. Which one was it? God, this event is so boring. Like, this is one of my, like... I hate events like this. They're so dull, dude. Like, it's actually good that I stream these because it's more entertaining talking to chat than it is playing these events. Like, I have to beat Mission 68. More events are bad than good these days, though, I'd say. Most of them are just glorified farming. They pretty rarely have good side bosses or anything. Like, every maybe third event, I feel like they have good side content and, like, boss fights and things to keep it interesting. Neutral servants. That probably applies to a lot of the bosses throughout this event. I'd imagine he counts. It looks like we don't need the trash mobs though. I'm pretty sure Fionn is neutral. Yeah, yeah, he's true neutral, that's right. That's rare. Yeah, this event sucks. Well, we don't really need the bonus mob spawns then. We don't need to kill any of these guys. Bronze drop. Let me get on my main account real quick and slot a bronze CE. I really don't mind mission events. Some mission events are awesome. There's been plenty of mission events that are awesome. It's just how they're done. Some mission events suck because they take too long and they're normally really time gatey. And sometimes they just make you do so much like wonky bullshit. They just take way too fucking long. Like CCC took way too fucking long. Oh my god, my main account's in a stage. I have to find someone with the fucking thing now. Yeah, it has really nothing to do with mission based or not. Like every event format can work. It just has to do they add fun, content for you to do or not. Some events add, fun boss battles and interesting things to pace it, and some it's just like lol, do free quests. And then the main story fights are so easy you're going to go to sleep. One of these days, this account is going to level Bedivere, I swear, but he's so good. And like every other account, I've leveled him. I just haven't done it on this one. I've got him in P5. He's right there. One of these days. And this account has like no AoE. It needs Spartacus for this kind of thing, because Spartacus is good for the main story and challenge quests as well. Gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, you need Hans Bond and Arash Bond. Oh yeah, I should like bring CEs. Got that. All these CEs are from FP Summon, man. And I don't think I got enough to limit break it. The Ilya event's pretty boring too, but at least it had some fun bosses at the end. Which, this will probably have fun bosses at the end. They normally have at least a few good bosses at the end. But it takes you a long time to get to that point. Imagine this team: Santa, Karna, Caesar, and Hercules. Like, what? Man, I want to finish the CCC event and I want to get back to... we could be doing Lost Belt 5-2 right now, which is like the funnest content in the game, and instead we're doing this crap. And see, if this was my main account and I had that many apples, I would just be doing the fun shit anyway and do the boring stuff off stream. But this account doesn't have... It's got a decent amount of apples, but it doesn't have so many apples that I can do that. We'll do chat versus Zeet on NA. Clicking all the wrong buttons, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to do Art Buster Quick or Buster Quick Art. I should have done Art Buster Quick. It doesn't matter, thankfully. I don't think it'll be that horrible because chat can bring really powerful stuff. Although it'll definitely be a bit horrible because there's a lot of decisions to be made turn to turn with that fight. So, I don't know. Maybe it will be bad. Well, I guess we're going for Karna in peak game this whole time is irrelevant. Yeah, just land all the buffs, I'll take it. Jesus Christ. Caesar, dude. 282? My god. Hits a little hard, by the way. Dude, I don't think this account has the command code right now, but there's that command code that gives you buff success chance. And that guarantees that Caesar lands every single one of his buffs, because the count is like one calculation. We actually have grailed him, I just forgot to level him, and we'll grail him up more. Most of the servants on this account I'm only gonna grail to 90, but we're probably gonna grail Caesar to 100. I want to see maximum Caesar, and when Hercules is 2k foed, we'll start 2k foing Caesar, I think. Let me see something. So I'm not. I think this account does have a Bond Grail. I kind of forgot about that. I should have used this so long ago. We've used Hercules so much since he got Bond 10, dude. I mean, I don't really care because this is, you know, ult account. Who gives a fuck about SQ over here? But it was just, well, why not, right? I could have done the same thing anyway, so. Martha would be a fun grail target. Oh, I basically want to grail units on this account that I like, but I don't grail on my other accounts, so it's unique, but then also units that I like, and I get to show them off better. So yeah, Martha is definitely a possibility. Oh my god, I need to just do this stupid stage on my main account so I can slot stuff that I want. Well, once we're done with this mission, we'll have a lot of the bronze mat, so that's good. The grailed Phantom, yeah, I don't think so. Although, I do like Phantom, and if he got an animation update and another buff, he'd probably be pretty legit. Here's the thing, Samson sucks, right? But I like Samson so much that I'm happy to grail him. I don't like Phantom that much, right? I don't mind Phantom, but I don't like super hype Phantom or anything, so there's really no world where he gets grailed. I thought it would be a giant meme. I do like Phantom though, and I would love Phantom to get more like love and like get an animation update and a costume and that kind of. He deserves it, and there's a lot of potential there for him to be a lot more awesome than he is. Damn, that turn could have been a lot better. I didn't say I don't like Phantom. I do like Phantom. I just don't like Phantom like. He's not like, you know, Billy and Koo and those kinds of things. Phantom's pretty good lore-wise, actually. He's got a pretty interesting, diverse kit, and he's immune to, like, a lot of mental interference stuff. Mata Hari would have no chance against him, but that's actually most... Mata Hari doesn't have a chance against most things, but Phantom would do extra well there. It's a pretty low bar, but no, he's alright. He's no, you know, Gilgamesh or anything, but he's pretty strong. The Brave Chain is probably more damage, but whatever. This is cooler. Mata Hari can beat someone that... Well, okay, she needs a lot of things to line up, okay? So, she needs it not to be a Saber, Lancer, or Archer generally. She wants them to not have magic resist, so that's the thing. And then she needs them to not have really high willpower on their own, and then not have a skill that gives them mental interference, which a lot of people have, but a lot of people don't. The thing is, a lot of people that do not have anti-mental interference have magic resist, and at a very high rank. So both of those things are a huge problem for her. So she needs somebody that does not have magic resist, does not have mental interference, does not have natural really high willpower, and then is not like an archer or some kind of sniper or someone like that, or someone that's stealthy. Needs them not to be either of those things. And then she needs their master to not to be an idiot. She needs their master to be an idiot, right? If they have a master like Kaneth or a Tokiomi, or a competent typical mage, it's not gonna work because competent typical mages set up bounded fields and stuff. And she's not a proper assassin, so she can't be stealthy. She doesn't have the skill to like sneak into, a bounded field like Hunterface does. Hunterface is able, Zaid the base is able to do that no problem, but Madohari couldn't do that in the slightest. So you need a lot of things to line up there. You need their master to not, be your typical Magus master that sets up defenses and stuff, like detection things and all that. And then you need them not to have magic resist. You need them not to have anti-mental interference. You need them not to be an assassin or an archer or someone that acts similarly to them. And they need to not naturally have really high willpower, right? And also not be a berserker, because an inherent part of berserkers as part of their class is they're just immune to things like charm, just period. So that's a very small niche there, and you could still, and then also you need the other things in the war to not like gank you while you're trying to do it. Like if you're trying to charm somebody, you need the archer to not notice you and just blow your head off, right? Because again, she doesn't have stealth, and once she reveals herself, she can never pretend to be a human again. So yeah, it's not good. You need plot armor. You need plot armor. You need the writer to contrive things to go in your favor. That's what you need as Madohari. Because obviously it wouldn't be dramatic if Madohari just died to Emiya, sniping her from across the city or something. They're not gonna do that. So you need the power of the pen. That's the way. Be the main character, Forehead. Even if she wasn't a main character, though, I don't think they would actually have her perform how she would on average. They would contrive ways to have her not be. They'd want to have her show off her abilities and not just fail miserably. Because a lot of cavalry classes actually do have mental debuff immunity, like in lore. A lot of them do. And then some of them are just like really stealthy. And then you have, oh my god, and she doesn't work against casters either. Because casters are like competent masters on like steroids, right? There's like, Medea has bounded fields on top of bounded fields and super detection, and normally you can't even find her. And like, that'd be horrible, right? So yeah, it's not good, man. Yeah, riders with dumb masters, and sometimes night classes have low magic resist. They don't always have high magic resist. It just depends. However, a lot of them, like Bedevir's got like a super anti-charm ability that he has all the time. I don't know what his magic resistance is actually. Let me look. I think it's his calm and collected skill, lore-wise, makes him immune to charm. It's funny because Edmund actually gets the calm and collected skill as part of his like determination of steel or whatever, and then plus other things. So Bedivere would be a nightmare for her because he has magic resistance B, which is quite good, and then he has a natural anti-charm ability that's up all the time. That's also high ranked, and then he also has inherently high willpower. So that would not go well. Actually, they have quite a bit of detail about espionage. It's just, she's not stealthy. She is not stealthy. She cannot hide her presence. She can't turn invisible like Curse Arm can. Can't do anything like that. She just, moves around like a normal person pretty much. But people will perceive her as a regular human instead of a servant. But if she ever reveals herself as a servant, she can never pretend to be a regular human again, and everyone can just see that she's a servant. Which might sound good, but I've said this on so many streams. It is objectively worse than presence concealment in almost every circumstance ever. Like, what do you think is better? Being visible, but people think you're a regular human, or just being invisible? Like, of course being invisible is better. Because even if they think you're a regular human, Tokiomi would never let a regular human just walk into his mansion. right? Medea's not going to let a regular human walk into her territory, right? Canis isn't going to allow someone to just, you know, walk into his hotel room. They're not going to do that, right? So human or not, they're probably going to try to kill you anyway. So it's so much better to be not only be invisible, but to be skilled. That's the thing about the Hassans. They're not just invisible, they're skillful. You know, they can detect bounded fields themselves. They can evade them. They can move nimbly. They're very agile. You know, so they're just a million times better. You know, and like, not only are they better at like getting to their targets and not being detected, but then they're better at killing them. Right, where Matahari can't even kill them generally. Like, oh, but you can charm them. But a lot of them you can't charm. Right, you think Curse Arm gives a fuck if Bedivere has magic resist and calm and collected? He don't give a fuck, right? He's just gonna eat them anyway, right? It's just so much better. Let's see, we're on the final wave here. Yeah, a lot of the Knights of the round have very high magic resist. Pretty much, actually, I think all of them have really high magic resist. I'm not gonna lie though, because the writing in Fate is shit a lot of the time, I think they would legit forget about magic resist a lot, like when you had a story like that, because they already have. They've forgotten about magic resist so many times, and like what they actually said about it canonically in Fates of Night and stuff, and in the character material books. Like, I think they just legit forget about it. Oh hey, second CE drop that we don't actually need, but yeah, because like, you know, Artoria's magic resist is something they've shown off in Fates of Night a lot, so it's like a good benchmark of like something that's higher ranked than hers or a little bit lower ranked than hers. It's easy to see kind of what it would be able to accomplish, and so yeah, when you look at what Artoria's magic resist is capable of accomplishing, you're like, yeah, this is kind of broken, and that's why they don't bring it up very often. I don't think they've given up on the story at all. I think it just depends on the writer. You know, different writers care a different amount. Like, this is nothing new. This has nothing to do with Fate being a popular franchise. This has nothing to do with how long running it is. It has nothing to do with, like, its inherent, you know, writing style or anything. It's just a lot. There is no end to like the amount of anime I could point to that has internal logic that's inconsistent, or that is consistent until it gets in the way of what the writer wants to do. Dude, there's like a guy on YouTube. I think his name's like Caleb City or something like that. He makes like skits, and they're normally very video game related and stuff. He's hilarious, by the way, and he makes really good stuff. But he just like last night he posted a video basically talking. It was like a joke skit about plot armor. Right, and it's like when the writer needs the plot to progress, the powers just don't matter anymore. It doesn't matter what's been established. It doesn't matter, you know, what the rules say. Whatever's in the way of the plot going in the direction that it needs to go in will just go out the window. It doesn't matter what it was, right? And that's terrible writing, by the way, and I hate that kind of writing, but it's very common. Nothing to do with Fate. You see it in all kinds of stories. Now, certain writers out there go out of their way not to do that kind of stuff, but that's very rare. It's like an industry standard for comics and anime and even movies and those kinds of things. So whenever an established ability, let's say you have a movie that's got like power armor in it. If the power armor at a certain point in the movie is displayed to have a certain tech level and be able to block this amount of things and move at this speed, as soon as that logic would but we need this character to die dramatically, and the guy in the mech can't get there in time to save him, right? So we have to have it just not move that fast, right? They'll do it. They'll do it at the drop of a hat. They won't even think about it, right? It's like they will always prioritize, we want this story beat, we want this character to show off, we want this character to not show off, we want this character to die, it's this guy's time to shine, it's not this guy's time to shine. That's all they care about. Everything else is just fluff, right? It's like a skin in a game. It doesn't affect the character's abilities, right? It's just you know, fluff. It's surface level, and I think that's terrible writing, and that kind of stuff drives me crazy. But that is the standard for anime and visual novels and manga and comic books. It is absolutely the standard. The exception is when the writer actually cares about consistency and internal logic and how things would actually, you know, play out with like the sandbox they've created and stuff. That is definitely rare, and it's because it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to plan ahead enough to kind of think those things through and that kind of thing. A lot of writers just want the characters that they want to do well at the time they want them to do it at, right? That's all there is to it. And like in a story like Fate, oftentimes they kind of want to spread the screen time out and spread the awesome out so everybody gets their kind of time to shine or, you know, whatnot. Because like in Fate Stay Night, between the 3 routes, they kind of just give everyone their turn, right? Even though a lot of times it doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, a lot of people know what I'm talking about with that Caleb City. I am glad, because that guy's hilarious. He makes really good stuff. And that video last night was just pretty accurate to plot armor, so... Yeah, Fate is not really any worse or any better about it than anyone else. Sometimes they're worse about it, and sometimes they're better about it. Just depends on the writer, depends on the story. Because Fate does have so many different writers, there's no consistency with how much the writer cares about consistency, right? So, like, they could make, you know, Fate Goblet tomorrow, and a new book, and it could be super consistent, and they could, you know, really reference the things like magic resist and people's passive abilities and stuff, you know, really well, and do a really good job, and be very logical with, you know, how the fights, you know, play out and that kind of thing. Or they could, you know, be Fate Last Encore and not do any of those things. Dude, I'm telling you, Natsu is just bad at writing story. He's good at writing characters, and he makes the story an excuse to show off the characters. That is so obvious between Fate Stay Night and then Fate Last Encore. Because Last Encore was, Natsu was like the head writer and director on that, and it's just, the story is terrible. Like the internal logic and everything is awful. You know, it does a good job of showing off its characters, like, you know, Natsu always does, and as usual, Natsu generally makes very three-dimensional characters, and that's great. But the story is just, it's terrible. I mean, it's absolutely abysmal. And yeah, like, FGO is no exception to these things. In a lot of their stories, you guys just have excuses to show off characters and whatnot. That doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes they've had, because like we don't always know who writes which one. Like I don't even remember who wrote Lost Belt 1, but they did a pretty good job. You know, it had a few moments where they were kind of, you know, forcing, you know, the direction of who's winning and losing in kind of a contrived way and whatnot. But overall, I felt like Lost Belt 1 was pretty well planned out. They kind of knew who they wanted to win and lose, when and where. And they kind of thought about the abilities and how they could like make that sync up in a reasonable way. And so for the most part, I think actually off memory. Now I've only read the fan translations of Lost Belt 5, so I'm not counting that. But out of the stuff that's been translated, so there's like a lot of the story. I've seen the fan translations and I've seen the official translation, and then like how the community feels about the translations, and you kind of can figure out what actually happened and stuff that way. And so out of the stuff that's been officially translated, I would say Lost Belt 1 is probably the best when it comes to using their abilities sensibly. I'm trying to think, what other ones have done well? Off what I've seen of the Japanese version of it, though, I'd say Lost Belt 5 did pretty well. Not perfect, definitely not perfect, especially at the end. But it did alright. But yeah, I would say Lost Belt 1 is definitely the best. And then what's the worst? There's a lot. I don't know what the hell would be the worst, because they have a lot of ups and downs throughout. Like, some of it just makes no sense. Like Megalos, oh my god, the Megalos bit makes no sense in Argartha. None. There's no way to logically, like, figure out what would happen there. Like, there's no way you can beat Megalos with Columbus with that many lives left with fucking Dion, Trapface, and Kid Fergus. There's no way. Like, it's just not possible. Like, there's absolutely no way that you can win that. Even if Megalos like goes to sleep halfway through the battle, they don't have enough means of killing him like enough times. Like, and then let alone Columbus, right? I'm telling you, I desperately want that to be animated, because it'll be so dumb. Like what excuses you have to come up with, or like animation tricks you have to go with and whatnot. Like there's like you know, bad video games and bad anime and stuff, like, and I mean really bad ones that just have like atrocious writing and stuff. You know, they can be hilarious to watch, right? Because they're just so bad. I really think if they tried to seriously do Argartha, there's no way the story element of it would be good. It's impossible, especially that Megalos part. I mean, it would just be hilarious to me watching that. Dude, fucking the Gawain fight is so bad in the anime, dude, because it's fucking Mash, Da Vinci, Bedivere. They have no chance against Gawain. It's impossible. And not only and in the game you actually lose, but for some reason in the anime they win. But nothing happens. Like the fight is so garbage. Like it's basically Gawain just throws Mash and throws dirt in Da Vinci's face, and then he has a sword clash with Bedivere, and they grunt at each other a lot, and they just like push swords against each other for some reason, and then Bedivere slaps him, and then that's it for Gawain. It's like, okay, yep, that's totally how that fight's supposed to be. I mean, Cadus wants to kill the main character many times throughout the stories. Kind of funny how that whole situation turns out. Yeah, they cut out characters. I don't, man, the Camelot anime, dude. They do Gawain dirty a lot for the same reason they do Hercules dirty a lot. Like, I was talking about this on our Discord today. If you only watch Ufotable's anime, you think Hercules is a bitch. Because he's never accomplished anything ever. He's never done anything like noteworthy. He has no feats worth a damn. He just gets his ass kicked constantly, and he just looks like a giant bitch. Right? And throughout a lot of Fate material, they have, because Hercules has 12 lives, they're like, oh yeah, we can just have some people take some lives from him to show off how awesome they are, right? Which just makes Hercules look like a bitch. And you know, this kind of thing has happened to Hercules a lot, because he's so overpowered. With what they actually detailed in Fate Stay Night and what is in his character material book is so overpowered that he will just ruin most stories. He will just ruin it. And it's the same thing for Gawain. Gawain is so bullshit. I don't think they were even thinking about what they were writing down when they wrote down that during those hours of the day, his stats numerical value is timed by 3. They did not think that through at all, because that's bullshit. Like, he's 3 servants in terms of like his strength and speed and endurance. That's bullshit, right? That is so bullshit, and his stats are already high, and then he has this ludicrous AoE NP, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, almost no one can beat that head on, right? That's so ludicrous, and so they just have him not be that fast and strong, forehead. That's all you do. You just have everyone act like, wow, this guy's so strong, but oh, we managed to beat him anyway. And he's just not being 3 times stronger and 3 times faster and 3 times tankier, right? He just isn't. You just act like he's so strong. You have everyone say he's strong, but then he loses anyway. And you go, wow, whew, glad to beat that really strong guy that wasn't actually performing any feats that are, you know, comparable to what his stats say he can do. But, you know, fuck it. This is why, you know, you need to plan ahead when you design characters. When you have an overpowered character, you need to think about how to use them and those kinds of things. You can't just slap them in stories and have main character win because my plot armor. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. All right, have we not beat 5 neutral servants yet? Was Fionn the first neutral servant in this entire event? I don't even agree with it in the game. And it depends on the game, right? Like, because a lot of games aren't very story-driven. They're very gameplay-driven. For example, like Ninja Gaiden Black is almost a purely gameplay-driven game. The story is fairly irrelevant. I don't really care if the established lore about Ryu Hayabusa lines up with him being able to kill you know, the fiend Emperor Poo-Poo Head or whatever. I don't care, because that no one cares about any of that in Ninja Gaiden. It's sword slash real good, right? But when you have games, you know, if they are trying to be story-driven, have to be held to the same standard as anything else. Just because it's a game doesn't mean you're allowed to all of a sudden be completely illogical and moronic with what's happening, right? Like that doesn't. If you are a story-driven game, you're a story-driven game, and you need to have a good story. And now you need to be held to the same standard as anyone else, right? And because of the gameplay, you need to make sense out of like what's going to happen and how it's going to play out, right? Because these things are theoretically supposed to be planned ahead. So the one reason I'm not playing Ninja Gaiden right now is because the Team Ninja has said that there's an announcement coming up for Ninja Gaiden, and I suspect that they're going to release like an HD, you know, remaster collection of the original 3 games or something. And so I figure if they do that, I'll stream that when it comes out. So I figure, you know, don't blow your load right this second, right? And we'll just wait a bit for that, and then we'll do that. And if they don't release that, then I'll go back to playing Ninja Gaiden Black. Now I will say I'm probably not going to like the remaster as much as Ninja Gaiden Black, because the remaster is probably going to be Ninja Gaiden Sigma, and as I say every stream, I don't like Sigma nearly as much as Black, and it changes a lot of fundamental stuff that I'm not a fan of, but, you know, it is what it is. And who knows, maybe they make some improvements to it. You never know, they might change some things. But yeah, Gwaine is fated to be like her, because he's not the main character, he's normally an antagonist, so he has to lose. And they don't normally actually have a protagonist that can reasonably beat him, so they just beat him with horse shit. Like, look at every animated fight with Gwaine. They're all horse shit. All of them. And I don't think it's a controversial thing to say. It's like how Nero goes down in Lost Encore makes no fucking sense. It's like famous for making no sense. You can be the biggest Nero fan ever, and you'd be like, yeah, it's kind of... It's a fact that they just changed the way his NP worked for 5 seconds just cuz, and there's nothing that explains why Nero can block Excalibur with her fucking bare hands. Like, it's like, and how it's insane, right? It's just dumb. And then the same thing for the Camelot movie, you know, it just does not make sense. But yeah, that happens a lot in Fate, because that happens to Gilgamesh too. They normally try a little bit harder with not making it too ridiculous, but a lot of times it ends up being really ridiculous. But I guess Gil has also been a protagonist sometimes, so they don't always have to do that. So far, I would say Fate Strange Fake has done like a decent job. It's not been perfect. I think it's got some contrived moments here and there as well. But so far, it's done a decent job of being pretty believable with like the way the things line up and showing off people's abilities correctly. And the writer of it has even said he tries to do that. And a lot of times he like worries about it. There's like at the end of one of the books, they have like an interview with him and like him talking about stuff in like Nasu. And so he's just like, yeah, I gotta stick to the character material books and make sense of things and everything. And then Nasu's like, nah, you just make it up as you go, and who cares? So it's funny that Nasu says things like that, and then people try to defend Nasu as like Nasu always writes things like super, you know, he doesn't just ass pull things when he does, and he even says that he does. And I don't think he even cares, right? And that's fine, you know, he cares about, you know, his style of writing, and that's fine. But, yeah, I see some people act like... I mean, I see this a lot. And only from the Fate fandom. You don't see it outside of the Fate fandom. But from the Fate fandom, you see a lot of people that, like, try to defend Fate Stay Night and Lost Encore. I said Lost Encore. Last Encore. As though it doesn't have plot armor, and that it doesn't have, like, contrivance in those things. You act like it's, like, a super legit master storytelling. But it's just like, really? It's like, that's the hill you're gonna die on? Guess I'm not getting hurt killed because I'm actually clicking buttons this time. Most people that defend Last Encore are Nero fans. I'm saying it. Same for Septum. I've only seen like 2 or 3 people ever defend Septum, and every single one of them is a Nero fan. And they say it too. I've never seen somebody that's just like, yeah, Septum's good, and I don't even like Nero. Like, that's not a thing. And someone might say that to try to just like, you know, prove a point or something, but I wouldn't even believe them at this point. Like, it's so bad. Like, it's so bad. So, I think this is the last time I need to kill him. I hope so. And once we caught up, I'm gonna switch to my main account and we're gonna try to nuke the twins really hard with Billy or something just for funsies. That'd be more fun than this crap. I am bored out of my mind right now. Like, this is so dull. Yeah, a lot of Nero fans don't like Lost Encore, and they don't like Septim, actually. There's just, the people that do defend it always are Nero fans, but plenty of Nero fans actually don't like them. And a big part of that is because they don't use Nero well. And, like, you know, I'm not much of a Nero fan myself at all, but, like, I get where a lot of people are coming from. It's like, she was written well in Fate Extra, right? You know, Fate Extra has its problems with, like, plot and everything, but, you know, Nero had a fleshed out character, you know, it's pretty three-dimensional, right? And then she turned into a Umu meme, right? And that sucks. If you actually like Nero, you don't want them to be written that way. Wait, I'm confused. Why am I not completing the mission I need? I needed to kill neutral people. I thought it was just 5. Did I already do it and I just didn't check? No, I have not done it. It's mission 68. Oh, is it time gated? Oh my god, I think it's time gated. Motherfucker. So I think I did it at some point in that mission. Oh no, you need to kill 15 neutral servants. Let me see if I've done that or not. I may have. It really comes down to if other servants that have been fighting previously are neutral or not. If Fion's the first one, then we're not even close. Okay, 68. We've already done it. Okay. What's 79? Wanted to see, I wanted to see free quests one more time. No big deal. Okay, so we're pretty much caught up now. So we'll go to the main account and try to smack the twins in the face. Yeah, we can still do this stage a little bit more. And I think we need one of the stages here. And I don't think we need to do more there. We might need to do more here. I don't think so. We'll see. Alright, give me a second. I gotta whip out Samsung Dex. When he was like, I'm gonna take a nap right here. Yep. Dude, if you look at the YouTube comments, everyone's like defending it and saying, why was everyone saying the animation is bad? This is totally fine, when it's like the boringest nothing fight scene of all time. Like, it's so bad. Like, the Dean anime has significantly more interesting fights than that. And they also got some bad ones too, but they've got some actual choreography occasionally where, like, things are actually happening. Where, like, literally they just clashed swords and grunted at each other. Like, there was no fight. Off memory, I think Leo was only in last Encore for like 10 seconds and he just got bodied to show off how awesome someone else was. Like it was like Shadow Leonidas and he just instantly got wrecked. I mean, it just depends, like, because of budget, right? The Dean Knight had a very small production budget, so they weren't able to always animate things too well. But that was really normal for anime in that era. But they have a few fight scenes where they actually do a pretty good job of having actual animation and like Kojiro versus Artoria is fine. Honestly, I think it's pretty good. But it's not like, oh my god, this is the best anime action scene I've ever seen. But it's totally fine. There's no problem. They have several fight scenes like that are pretty good. But then there's several that aren't. Right, and you know, it's not so great. Okay, I think I got my screen set up properly. You know, I wouldn't really consider Kojiro versus Artoria like plot armor. It's a little plot armory, so never mind Dean Stay Night. We're talking about the canonical, you know, Artoria versus Kojiro, everything. It's a little plot armory in that some pretty convenient things happen to make everything... Okay, so Artoria has instinct, right? And so if there's like an opening, she'll see it, basically. And normally there is no flaw in Kojiro's, you know, triple swing attack thing, and there would be nothing for Instinct to even show her, right? There would be no flaw in it. But there is a flaw in it because his sword is messed up, and so it makes a slight opening in his attack, and that slight opening she can see because of Instinct, and she takes advantage of that opening and, you know, kills him. And the reason there's his sword is messed up so it doesn't produce the technique properly is because Kojiro's blade is damaged, and it's damaged because he doesn't have a Noble Phantasm. He has a regular blade, and he can only engage, you know, with other, you know, Noble Phantasms if he doesn't have his blade, like, directly take the force of them. He has to always parry what they do, and that kind of thing. If he takes on their blades directly, it'll damage his sword, and that happens, and his sword gets damaged, and that's that. Now that makes sense. That all cannot, like, it all makes complete sense. What happens makes sense. Artoria does have Instinct. It does work that way. Oh yeah, another thing though, Instinct has to, like, observe something it's observed before to, like, give you proper, like, information. And the reason it had information on Kojiro's technique was because she did see it before. Because earlier, you know, when they fight, Kojiro does it, but it only has, like, the 2 swings instead of 3 swings because he has, like, bad footing, right? And so she sees it there, right? So if you look at this series of events, that's pretty contrived. That she happens to fight Kojiro earlier, and he does the technique on bad footing, so she, you know, doesn't die to it there, for one, right? So if he had done it properly there, she just would have been killed. But so he does it once, kind of improperly, so then, you know, Instinct will work later because it's seen it now, and then his sword gets damaged because he has a regular blade, and then he does it again, but now properly, but there's a gap, and then she has Instinct so she can see it. And so that whole series of events is pretty fucking contrived, but it is possible, and everything makes sense. Like, of course his blade couldn't take on a Noble Phantasm directly, like in a block or in a clash, because it is a regular blade, and they've always said it was. And that is what they've said Instinct does, you know, that it works the way it's supposed to work. So it makes sense. It all makes sense. So it's not like full-on plot armor. It's just very convenient. You know, it's all very convenient, but it is fairly believable because, you know, as awesome as Kojiro is, you know, ultimately he is very handicapped and not in a fair circumstance. So it's not really surprising that he would lose. What am I doing right now? What is okay? There's 4 enemies. So yeah, why am I doing double Scatty Edmund? These stages are so bad for that. I have to kill one of them first. This is wave 2 though. No, I can go Burr. Cause yeah, if there's a 4th enemy, this kind of thing doesn't work so good. But if we're on wave 2, it's fine. What you should do is bring a Rosh for, like, the first wave if you're gonna do this kind of thing. Kojiro doesn't even have an MP. He didn't really make a gamble. Kojiro just wanted to know what would happen. That's what it says in the visual novel. He just wants to know. Because he's skilled enough to always parry Artoria. He doesn't ever have to block or anything like that. But, he's curious, because he's never fought servants before and any of that stuff. And so he's curious, you know, how strong is Excalibur and whatnot. So he wants to see. And so he basically lets his blade meet hers one time properly. And it breaks his sword, so. But if he had a proper Noble Phantasm like everyone else, you know, that wouldn't happen. There's 4 enemies again. I see how it is. Medea's not gonna help him, let's be real. She actively she kind of wants him to die, so. But he wants her to die too. You know, he literally was happy to let people go past, because his, like, code of honor could justify it, but he did not give a fuck if those people would kill Medea. Yeah, I was actually hoping for them to kill Medea, so. They're both pretty antagonistic towards each other. Alright, I have absolutely no idea what this account needs to do to catch up on the event. Let's see. I think we can do the main story right now. We can. We might be kind of close to the twins. I mean, I don't know why it would be surprising. Why do you think Kojiro is so much better? Kojiro has spent his entire life doing nothing but training just because. He never did anything else. He spent all of his life training and 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 training. It's like that one guy that's played the same video game for 40,000 hours, right? It's absurd. Except for in his case, it's way more than 40,000 hours, right? Like, it's not even comparable. Like, of course he's way better. And this is why Artoria and Arthur in real, well, not in real life, but in the real stories, Arthur is never, ever, ever the strongest of his court. This is like a staple of Arthurian legend. Arthur is never the strongest. And another comparison in real life is Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great did fight on the field very actively, and he was trained and everything. He was not a token warrior. He was a warrior. He knew how to fight, and he did fight. But he was not the strongest of his army. And the reason for this is very logical. So it's because a king, so in Artoria's case or Arthur's case, a king has to spend a lot of time being a king, right? That takes up a lot of your time. You are not training 24/7. Not only are you not training 24/7, but a lot of the fighting you're not going to do. Overwhelmingly, you're not going to do. You're going to delegate it to other people because a lot of the fights aren't going to be important enough. There's no reason to risk your king being killed and whatnot. Now, of course, Arthur and Artoria in the real legends and in Fate does do their share of fighting, of course, but not nearly as much as the knights do. All the knights do, all Gawain and Lancelot do, is train pretty much all day, and then they fight in every fight ever. So of course they're better than her, right? And same for the actual legends. That's why Arthur is not the strongest of his court. Now, yeah, he's very skilled and kind of a natural talent and all those kinds of things, and he does train some, but of course they're not going to be as skilled as somebody that just spends every waking moment non-stop, training and fighting. Like, that would be absurd, right? And so in real life, you have someone like Alexander the Great, who did train and did put in effort and everything, but of course wasn't the greatest combatant because a lot of his veteran warriors that fought with him, they didn't have to do any of the ruling and the management and any of that kind of stuff. And also, when you're working with that many numbers, right? So if you have a big army, for example, or a whole kingdom, the odds of the person that happens to be the king also being the most skilled is very unlikely. That's just, when it's you versus the other, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, odds are someone is just going to be better than you, right? Like, overwhelmingly, the odds of your ruler also coinciding with whoever happens to be the most skilled. So your army is going to just coincidentally have people in it that are more skilled than you naturally, and they're going to have more time to train than you, and they're going to see more combat than you. So really, a king is basically never going to be the cream of the crop, outside of just pure fairy tale. But yeah, and in Kojiro's case, it's even more extreme, because Kojiro is nuts. Like, literally, Kojiro is nuts if you read his story. Like, I don't mean Kojiro in the legend, I mean the actual character in Fates of Night that's not even named Kojiro, right? The Kojiro we see is some other guy that we never learn the name of. He did nothing for his entire life but train, fight, and look for a good opponent, and then try to kill a bird a lot. That's literally what he did for his entire life. So it would be absurd. It would be absurd for Artoria to be more skilled than him. And Artoria is very skilled, right? She's not a slouch at all, and they never imply such a thing. And that's why she's so surprised. I really hate that the anime has never done this, because it gives a lot of, credit to both characters. So in the visual novel, Artoria has a bit where she's, thinking to herself when she's fighting Kojiro, and she is shocked, because she's not cocky or anything, but she is well aware that she is very skilled and she knows what she's doing, and she's very confident in her abilities. She knows she's very good with the blade, right? And she's fighting Kojiro, and she's also aware that Kojiro's stats are much lower than hers, right? So she knows that he's slower than she is, and he's not as fast as he's not as strong as she is, and he's not even using magic, for God's sakes. And she's but she can't kill him, and she can't get past him. And so she's having a moment, and when she's thinking to herself, where it's this doesn't even compute. I'm faster than him. I'm stronger than him. She really asks herself, is he really that much better than me? Because it's on paper, I have such an advantage, but I'm losing. It's like this, what the fuck? And it's like, so is he, she has a moment where she's like, in order for this to be true, he has to be so skilled. Like, the only way this is possible is if this guy is just so much more skilled than me. And she's just like, question mark? And so that was like a really good moment for everyone, because you know, she is really skilled, right? That's the whole point, is that she knows she's really skilled, and she's struggling here. But yeah, they never really, the anime never really lets the audience know, one, how handicapped Kojiro is, and two, you know, how really skilled he is. They don't really do that. The one that does the best is Dean Stay Night. Dean Stay Night definitely does the best job of letting you know Kojiro is handicapped and is just way more fucking skilled than everybody else, because, you know, he's the only one that's doing a Noble Phantasm type ability with just his skill and not actually having magic assistance. Okay, so I think the next fight is the twins. So this fight is literally who the fuck cares, and then the next fight, I think, is the twins. So then we'll get more serious here. We'll just blow this up real fast. I mean, honestly, it's pretty normal for Artoria to be surprised, because when you are that skilled and someone does something like that, considering the circumstances, it is pretty, surprise Pikachu. That's even Ku! Dude, even Ku watches Kojiro and he's like, the fuck? Right, I mean, and Ku is way more accomplished than Artoria, and you know, Ku, when he fought Artoria, was crazy nerfed, and, you know, fucking Kodamine, command spell, and all that kind of stuff. And when you look at the accomplishments of Ku in his life, Ku fought a lot more than Artoria did, right? Ku is not a king. You know, he did a lot of brawling, and he trained a lot. You know, he trained under many different people. And he fought, you know, until he died. And in Fate, he's said to be one of the most skilled Lancers there is, right? So a huge accomplishment there. And then he sees Kojiro fighting, and he's like, fuck that, I don't ever want to fight that guy at close quarters combat, right? It's like, that just shows how bullshit Kojiro is. He was just like, I'd rather not. I mean, if what Ku says is he wouldn't want to fight him at close quarters if he had to, right? So if Ku had to fight Kojiro for some reason, he would use Death Flight on him with no hesitation, because normally servants don't just like blow out their Noble Phantasm right away like that, unless they have like reason to think they need to or whatever. But because Ku has knowledge of Kojiro and he knows how dangerous he is at close quarters, he would absolutely just use Bolt to blow him up. Like, it's, when you look at what Ku said, that's obviously what he would do. Now, if for some reason, you know, if Ku had to fight him in close quarters combat, you know, Ku's not going to give up. Of course he's going to try, you know, I mean, Artoria, you know, tried as well, and so he's going to do it. But he doesn't want to. He's not going to be happy about it. It's not his combat tactic of choice here. Even though Ku normally is happy to fight at close quarters combat and normally enjoys it, he's just like, yeah, no thanks. Actually, Ku wanted to fight Artoria again because he was actually annoyed because the first time he fought her, he was handicapped by Kodamine, and you know, he didn't really have the best showing. So he's actually wants to face her. In Fate, when they do fight again, he's happy. He's like, I get to, you know, correct the record, right? So he's actually like wanting that kind of thing to happen. But yeah, not with Kojiro. Fuck that. I mean, for God's sakes, why? Literally, it's even if you have armor like Lancelot, that there's no reason that you'd want to fight Kojiro at close range unless you have to. I mean, he's literally breaking the laws of like space and magic in the Fate universe because he practiced a lot. So it's like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. Because even if you're wearing armor like Lancelot, which, you know, obviously Kojiro's sword would break before the armor would, you know, Kojiro's still skilled enough that he might be able to, you know, get you in the visor or some nonsense like that. So yeah, if you don't have to risk it, don't. Okay, is this it? You fight Saber, Avenger, Archer. So there was a writer here, so it's not this one, but it's soon. I'm just going to like murder these really fast because these are so there's no fun in these. These are crap. Kojo's luck stat doesn't even matter against Bolg because his stats are he's like so physically weak. Bolg does not need to hit him in the heart to kill him. If you pass the luck check, which they say is unbelievably rare, but if you happen to, you know, roll a 20/20 or whatever the fuck you need, it's still gonna hit you. It just doesn't hit you in the heart. You know, it damaged Artoria greatly, even though it didn't hit her in the heart, and she was quite foobar. Kojo could not weather that. Like, no way. Like, Artoria was pretty messed up by it, and then Kojo is just dunzo if that hit him. But Kojo's luck stat's pretty high, and that's very normal. Generally, when they have servants that are screwed over by like a bad master or unfortunate stats or whatever, they normally will give them higher luck. If you can actually look at this, look at Artoria between Rin and Shiro. She has a higher luck stat with Shiro. There's a lot of servants that we've seen with different masters, and whenever one of their masters is shite, they get a higher luck stat. It's like the Grail's way of like trying to compensate for your bad circumstances, right? And the writer is doing it to allow for plot armor. Yeah, Chako-Jana has the worst luck in all of Fate right now. No one else has luck that bad. There's people that are close, but there's nobody else that is E- or worse. I'm just waiting for them to give somebody F. Like on the scale, it only goes down to E-. E- is the lowest thing anything can be in Fate right now. But I'm just waiting for them to be like, F! Edmund's luck is blank, so there is no luck stat. So basically how the luck stat works, so thankfully they thought this through, and they're not like breaking the laws of reality here. So in real life, there's no such thing as luck. You know, it's just cause and effect, and the cause and effect can line up in a way where a certain individual may have more unfortunate things happen to them than fortunate things that are outside of their control. That can happen, and so you would call that luck, but it's not technically luck. It's just cause and effect, right? Now, so for example, you can have someone live. There was a guy that actually happened to live in like the first city in Japan that got nuked, and then he survived it, and then he took a bus or a subway or something to a different city, which was the second city that got nuked, right? Very unlucky guy, right? Although in a way he's lucky because he survived somehow. And there's people that have been struck by lightning multiple times, right? So it's still just cause and effect like anything else. It's just the cause and effect is things that you would never be able to predict. Right? Like if you go back in time and examine physics and everything, you could see why these things happened and what led to like the decisions that were made and the whatever cause and effect that led to these things happening. It's not luck. But at the end of the day, you know, your life is short enough that there's gonna be so much variance in the things that are outside of your control that you would not be able to predict, that it's gonna seem like luck. That's how it basically appears to us, and you might as well call it luck. So what the Grail does is because people in their life, like in Ku's life, more unfortunate things happen to him than fortunate things by quite a lot. And so what the Grail does is it uses its, you know, magic to basically, your luck stat gives you an aura, and that aura, depending on what your luck stat is, will make things be more or less favorable. And the Grail enforces that, right? It uses it. The Grail enforces a lot of stuff that wouldn't actually happen otherwise. It uses its abilities to like mimic things, like you know, the luck check on Bolg. There's no such thing as luck. But what it's doing is it's looking at the stat that it assigned the servant, and then actually, you know, it's doing the calculation and then enforcing the outcome. That's what the Grail is doing, right? Even though there is no actual luck stat. People don't have a luck stat, right? But a servant does because the Grail assigns them one, right? And then it uses its abilities to enforce that kind of stuff. And so Ku has an aura around him that just manipulates things somewhat to make it slightly less favorable to him all the time. That's why he can't catch any fish in Fate Hollow, is because his luck stat is literally you know, slightly like changing the currents of the water and stuff to kind of push the fish away and things like that. So it's just not happening, right? Again, there's no actual luck in Fate Stay Night. It's just, you know, lol magic. But anyway, so if you have a good luck stat though, then that aura will make things a bit more favorable to you instead. Now with Edmund, back on point, that's what started this. Edmund, because he has blank, he doesn't have that aura. It's not there. The Grail or whatever wouldn't even do the calculation. You know, whatever summoned him, you know, has the influence over these things, won't even do it. There is no luck stat for him, right? So, and that's kind of fits into his story, right? There's like, you know, make your own fate, blah blah blah. So now they've never explained what happens if like a luck check comes up. They've never explained, and presumably they might not even work. Who knows? It's not really clear about what happened. Because yeah, his whole thing is there's you know, there's no luck for him. So I don't know. I'd love it if they would explain that at some point, but as far as I'm aware, they never have, and they may never. So. People switching around. Dude, can we just get Maxwell's demon? Like, not only have they already made him, and they already detailed most of his abilities, not all of them, but they detailed most of his abilities. They're great. They did such a good job with him. Like, they did a really good job of representing what the thought experiment of Maxwell's demon is. They did a very good job of representing that and giving him abilities based off that. They did surprisingly well. So I'm like, yeah, he's got a unique design. He fits what he's based on extremely well, but he's still very anime. So, like, God, I really want them to add him, because he's one of the times they did a damn good job. Because sometimes they make servants and they just barely represent what they're based on. Where with him, it's like he's still anime as fuck, but he very much represents what he's based on. And it's very interesting and unique, so fucking would love them to add that in. How are we I thought the twins were so much sooner than this, dude. Yeah, they used Maxwell's Demon in FGO, but he wasn't playable, so they at least used him. We've actually used him like 3 times. And Kido has blank luck because he can manipulate his stats. If I remember correctly. Boy, this sure is exciting. I wonder if Edmund's gonna one-shot all of them. At no point did anyone doubt the location of the twins. The thing that I'm bringing up is I don't know why we're still here. Just to suffer, yeah. God, that took forever. I thought we did some of those yesterday, but oh my god, we're not done yet. Probably should have played this account more off stream, but it's just so boring, dude. At least we get some okay loot out of it. That's the one thing I'll give it. It's not that good a loot though, but I mean, anytime they give us bones, hero proofs, or void dust, I'm generally happy, so. Like, I'm just gonna buy these now. There's no world where those aren't top priority. He can manipulate it as much as he wants. Basically, and this is how everyone is anyway, you know, stats have a numerical value, right? Like A and A plus and B, B plus, C, C minus, all these things, those have a numerical value tied to them. It's numbers, right? And most servants have a, you know, ultimately they have a certain amount of numbers in their stats and they're just set into these, you know, stats. With Enkidu, he's given that number and he can put them wherever he wants and he can change them at any time. So, you know, he's got a total number just like everyone else does, but instead of them being assigned to the stats, he can freely change them, put all of them into one stat, or, you know, make them even, or whatever. So, like, if he's about to get hit by something, he could put all of his stats into endurance, for example. Or if he wants to evade something, he could put all of his stats into agility. Or he can have a balance, right? So, I mean, he is so dangerous, dude. Because not only can he do that, but he can also create... So, instead of Gate of Babylon, he has, like, the Earth's clay, and he can make items out of it, and the craftsmanship level is on par with Noble Phantasms. They're not actually Noble Phantasms. They're, you know, Earth-created items. They're not famous items or anything, they're just Earth-created items. But the Earth and his clay and whatnot is, like, capable of creating any Noble Phantasm on par with anything from Gate of Babylon. With that much variety, they can... You know, the Earth can infuse them with effects and stuff, so they could match any kind of wacky effect that Gate of Babylon has, right? So not only can he shapeshift his body and move his stats around and then create all kinds of items to protect himself or attack his enemies, but they also will have all kinds of bullshit effects and random, you know, nonsense. And that's what I always do. Enkidu is dangerous as fuck, because now obviously he can't beat plot armor, nobody can. Because nothing is stopping the writer from having Enkidu just not using his abilities. So you can just have him generically shoot swords and have none of those swords do any effects just because the plot needs the person not to die, right? You know, welcome to anime. But, you know, without plot armor, he's basically Gilgamesh, but way tankier and mobile himself, and then he's not a cocky asshole, and so he doesn't hold back nearly as much. And so, I mean, he will just murder most people. Like, he's gonna create all these bullshit items out of the earth, that are gonna have all these wacky, insane effects that are gonna counter the hell out of you, and then he's just got these insane stats that can change on the fly, and then he can detect enemy servants, he has unlimited mana because he's connected to the earth, and like what the fuck? Like, so few servants even have a snowball chance in hell at fighting Enkidu. And you know, Enkidu does not use much mana because, again, he's connected to the earth, and the earth just supplies him with the mana. And a lot of it is just his clay, and his clay is like a physical thing instead of, you know, magic stuff being created by the Throne of Heroes. So, if you notice, he has a lot of like mirrors to how Gilgamesh works. Like, you know, Gilgamesh doesn't have Noble Phantasms that are being created by the Throne of Heroes either. He has real physical Noble Phantasms that are actually inside of Gate of Babylon, right? His actual treasury that he's connected to. Right, so he also doesn't need very much mana. So Enkidu is like a mirror of that, just with different methods to get there. But yeah, Enkidu is scary as fuck, and if there's no plot armor, I can barely think of any servants that would be able to beat him. I can think of a few, and people are always susceptible to like ganks and things like that, but with a no plot armor, head-on fight, 1v1 me brah, it'd just be horrifying. Yeah, Enkidu is not really the betraying type, but if his master's a scumbag piece of shit, then he probably would. Or if they're like bulldozing the earth, you know, same deal. So he's not going to work with anybody, but he's generally not too hard to work with. And he doesn't really have much of an ego. He doesn't have much sense of self because he's got self-confidence problems, but, you know, we don't go there. Oh god, I think I brought I should really, while I'm doing this, I should not bring the bonus to ease, it'll just take longer. Or bring a Rosh. So if we're talking absolutely no plot armor, nobody getting like hacks from the Grail, any weird stuff like that, I can't really think of anyone that I think is 100% the absolutely can beat him, but like I think Saver has a chance. It's hard to say how he would work though with his main Noble Phantasm because Enkidu's pretty abnormal. But so, Saver has a chance, Pale Rider has a chance, but Pale Rider's abilities aren't super fleshed out, but Gilgamesh even says that, like, Enkidu is going to be, like, very weak to his attacks because of, you know, how Enkidu died and everything. That doesn't mean that Enkidu can't create items from his clay that can't counter Pale Rider. Nothing says that at all. It's just that Enkidu will be very susceptible to Pale Rider's attacks. They'll very damage him, right? Like, so he'd be very weak to them. So that's a big threat. That's something he has to be very careful about. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he can't beat Pale Rider, and in a 1v1, I'm not really sure how it would go down. Adam doesn't, that's not even a thing, because like Adam is not, like, you don't really fight Adam unless he's in stage 1. And if he's in stage 3, they're not gonna fight. Also, there's literally no world where Adam and Enkidu wouldn't be on the same side. They're both hooked up to the Earth. They're both being blessed by the Earth. They both have the same priorities. So they would never fight each other. They would just high-five. But if for whatever reason they had to fight, if it was stage 1 Adam, then Enkidu would win. If it's stage 2 Adam, we don't know what stage 2 Adam can do, really. So I don't know what the fuck could happen. But with stage 3 Adam, they can't even fight, and then obviously Adam wins, because that's how stage 3 Adam is, so. But yeah, they would never fight each other, because they're completely on the same page. The only way they would fight is if, I guess, you know, Gil was there and Gil wanted to fight it, and then Enkidu would probably side with Gil, but other than that, it's not gonna happen. I'm trying to think, anybody else? Let's see, I mean, I always say Edmund. I think Edmund versus Enkidu is harder for Edmund, though, than versus Gil, because Gil is cocky and stuff. I think Edmund has, because of his, like, you know, crazy speed and teleporting ability, I think he could potentially gank Gil before Gil got serious and just kill him. You know, canonically, Edmund's actually really bursty and is really hard to stop. That would be much harder against Enkidu, because Enkidu can give himself, you know, EX endurance and crap like that, or A++ endurance or whatever. However, they say Enkidu is weak to attacks that attack the soul because of how he died, and Edmund has these black flames that attack your soul, and it actually, like, it perma-kills that dude from Tsukihime. That guy that normally, like, Ro or whatever, he, like, normally reincarnates when he's killed, and, like, gets a new body and stuff, but his soul, like, goes to a different body. But he can't, Edmund permanently kills him because his flames destroy his soul, so he can't do that anymore. So, that's pretty scary. So, yeah, I think Edmund's got a shot at it. Again, Enkidu could certainly make items out of his clay that, you know, is going to have all kinds of wacky, crazy effects that could potentially counter Edmund, too. So, I would never say Edmund has a 100% chance to win, but I think he definitely has a shot at it. You might think Aussie, because Enkidu doesn't have divinity. So, because normally, like, Aussie wouldn't really have a chance against Gil, because Gil has divinity, so you can't seal his noble phantasms, and Aya obviously will destroy the reality marble and everything else. But he's like, oh, but Enkidu doesn't have divinity, so you could seal his noble phantasms, but joke's on you, he doesn't have any noble phantasms, because they're technically clay being made out of the earth, and all that nonsense, so you wouldn't seal anything, and you're kind of fucked, so. I guess the Chains of Heaven bit, you could probably seal that, but he doesn't really need that, so. Yeah, that wouldn't really work out. Who else? Most of the other things I can think of are things that aren't technically servants. They're like gods instead. Because, you know, like Zeus obviously got a perfect shot at that, but that's not really the same thing. For regular servants, I'm trying to think, who else am I'm trying to think, there must be some other, like, I don't think Karna really has a chance, as strong as Karna is, because Karna has so much divinity, and Enkidu has even stronger Chains of Heaven. That's just, I don't, with plot armor, I'm sure they'd have Karna, like, keep up just fine, but without plot armor, logically, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I think Quetz would get so wrecked by Enkidu. Like, first off, the fight between her and Tengu didn't really happen in the visual novel, they just did that in the anime, and that wouldn't make a lot of sense in my opinion. And also it was just a really brief fight. And it never said, but I've always guessed, and I think it's kind of obvious, that Tengu is not as powerful as Enkidu. Because if you look at what Enkidu does in Face Change Fake, it's much scarier than anything Tengu ever does. Now, what some people have guessed, and this could be true, and this actually makes a degree of sense, is Tengu just may be very unfamiliar with his own abilities, because he, you know, his soul got flopped in the body, and that's kind of that. So he's not necessarily, you know, used to the vessel he's driving, if you will. Where Enkidu obviously, you know, really knows what he's doing. So that could be why Enkidu is shown to be so much more, like, diverse and powerful in Face Strange Fake. But I really do think Tengu is definitely weaker than Enkidu, and potentially because the vessel has been damaged, and maybe his connection to the Earth is not as strong. I'm not even sure if Tengu even has the connection to the Earth, really, that Enkidu does. They never really mention it, and he doesn't seem to have, like, the presence detection, and he can't, like, 'cause like Enkidu can like sing to the earth and literally change the shape of the earth and everything, and it's like scary as fuck. Kingu can't do anything like that. So I very much think Kingu is much weaker than Enkidu. But yeah, I don't see how Quetz, even Rex was talking about this, I just don't see how Quetz could fight like a serious Enkidu. She has so much divinity, and she doesn't have as much, she is very strong, but she's not as strong as Hercules, and she has way more divinity than he does, and Enkidu's Chains of Heavens are like way stronger than Gil's, so it just doesn't make any sense. And then like, Enkidu can make all these crazy noble phantasms and whatnot, so I don't really see how she could. I think she'd do, you know, she's not gonna embarrass herself, but because she has so much fucking divinity, I just don't see how that's gonna play out well for her. I'm clicking buttons and none of it really matters. That might kill everything. Probably should have hit the crab with that, because she had all the defense down, and she had less health. The quick hit way harder. You had the quick buff. Romulus is really strong and everything, but I don't see him as on par with Enkidu at all. He just doesn't have that kind of diversity. You know, he's got some great stuff, and yeah, Romulus's divinity is optional. He can turn it off, and that's really good. So the Chains of Heaven won't work on him. Like, but like, look at what Romulus has, right? You know, he can, he's got the tree Noble Phantasm, which is a pretty unique attack angle, and it's on par with Excalibur, right? That's very impressive. And then he's got the castle walls that are a Noble Phantasm, and he can use them for offense or defense. He can just, and it says the walls can materialize out of the ground in unbelievably quickly. It says that they can materialize so quickly that they're fast enough to catch a servant, and servants are crazy fast. You know, they're like Dragon Ball Z characters here. Not quite that fast, but you know what I'm saying. And they're fast enough to catch servants and decapitate them, right? Like the wall coming out of the ground will decapitate a servant, right? That's nuts. So that's very scary, but I mean, Enkidu can do shit like that anyway with all the bullshit he can create out of the clay and everything, and he just has all these different effects and everything. I just think Enkidu just has way more diversity and way better stats and whatnot. I think Romulus could put up a really good fight, but I just don't see, you know, he's only got a few Noble Phantasms, right? They're really good, you know, but he's like a normal servant. He's got a few very powerful Noble Phantasms. Romulus is way stronger than your average servant, of course, but I just don't see how he's gonna come. Now, maybe there's some unknown things about Romulus we don't know about, because they've said regular 3-star Romulus, you know, is so powerful in Fate Extra that the Moon Cell puts him on the far side, because he's like just too powerful. And what they have said about him, he is like holy shit powerful, because he's also got EX, Imperial Privilege, and he doesn't have the Mind Grain problem and all these stuff. Like, so he's super strong, but I don't see how he could beat Enkidu. I think that's just too much. Because I think Enkidu could survive his nuke, because Enkidu could give himself really high endurance and, you know, create a bunch of stuff out of his clay to defend himself with, so I think he could tank the NP. And the only way I could see Romulus, like, beating Enkidu is if he just ganks him with the castle. That's, like, the one way. Do I have the main story right now? I don't think I do. I think I have to do this free quest several times. Yep! God, I cannot believe I'm this far behind on this account. Like, I'm super behind. I would imagine Enkidu... I don't think Enkidu could even be summoned if he wasn't on Earth, because that's like his whole thing. Like, Gil's even surprised that he's summonable, period, and the only reason he really is summonable is because of his connection to the Earth. He's not really a typical servant. So I would imagine if somehow Enkidu got it, Enkidu in space, if somehow that happened, he would be a lot weaker, definitely. However, if they ever use him in the Extra universe, they'll just contrive some reason for that not to be the case, because Extra is just their playground, beat bullshit, and I mean, I don't think the Moon Cell can summon him. There's no reason, everything they've said about Enkidu, it would make 0 sense for the Moon Cell to be able to summon him, so I absolutely do not think that it can, but they don't care, because there's no reason the Moon Cell should be able to summon Scath, and it can, and they just horseshitted some bullshit. They were like, yeah, we know it should be able to summon Scath, but you see, the Moon Cell is summoning humanity's perception of the legend of Scath. It's not actually summoning Scath's soul, you see. And obviously they just made that up just to contrive a reason to put Scath in the video game, right? So if they wanted to put Enkidu in a Fate Extra universe video game, they would, and they would just make up some bullshit, right? And then they'd probably want to give him his powers And so they would just make up some bullshit, right? They just make it up, right? They always do that. So if they want to use them, they will. It won't stop them. Logic will never fucking stop them because they're very cart before the horse. But, you know, as we're at right now, there's really no reason to think that he even could be summoned over there. I just want Berserker and Kidu, man. One of these days. The fact that they hinted at it again, and not only that, we may have potentially seen him. Like, the end of that interlude, you know, they show like that shadowy figure, and it's kind of implied to maybe be Berserker and Kidu. So if that was him, I think they are going to use him, because that was written by the guy that writes Fate Strange Fake. So, you know, I think that he's alluding to either using him in Fate Strange Fake or using him in FGO at some point. So just like how they kind of alluded to using Beast 666 at some point, I think they're kind of alluding at the same thing there for Enkidu. So I think it could happen. A lot of people think it's never going to happen, but I think it definitely could happen. Like that last interlude thing, I think really hinted at it, so... Hopefully he gets a good design, though. He might be enemy only, though, because really he shouldn't be humanoid. That's the whole point, is it's him before, you know, gaining human intelligence and when he was more monstrous and wild and that kind of thing. So I think it'd be kind of dumb if it was, like, edgy Enkidu, right? Like, as we know him, that'd be really stupid. Like Enkidu going through a goth phase. Right, we don't need that. Like I prefer he be more monstrous golem-like, how they've described him. But they've had plenty of things before that were like before FGO was a thing, when they were just like described in Fate Stay Night or a character material book, and they weren't really planning on making them a waifu that you could summon. A lot of things were described as being non-humanoid or whatever, or unattractive or whatever. But when they finally got around to adding them in FGO, they convoluted a reason to make them more palatable, right? You know, because them sales. So they might do the same for Enkidu. If they want Enkidu to be enemy only, then they probably will just make him a giant golem or something. But if they want him to be playable, they're going to want him to be, you know, relatable or attractive or interesting or whatever. And so they'll probably come up with a reason to not make him as they had described. Because they've already done that so many times. Which I don't like that kind of thing, but it is what it is. 1 second, I need some water. Drank it all. Mini Adam. Yeah, if anything, bigger. Although we never saw... We saw stage 1 Adam. Adam gets a lot bigger, but they've kind of shown, you know, Enkidu from the past, and he's huge. You know, he's like a big earth golem monstrosity thingy. Alright, I'll be right back. Because not only is he popular as fuck, but he's always been said to meet the criteria for all these other classes. Like, they've said that from the beginning. So they had a million excuses to do it, and it's not like he's so popular. It's not like, oh man, but if we make this, it's not going to sell very well. There's no way that ever went through their mind, so it's kind of weird that we didn't get more Karnas sooner. Hey, Arjuna. I am so glad Arjuna is part of these streams, by the way. Really brings something special to the stream. You know, it wouldn't feel whole without I Love Arjuna. And by that, I mean it brings a lot of moist licking, apparently. You know, honestly, I kind of want Saber-Ku, just because it's not really what you would expect, but when you look at his legend, it actually makes the most sense. But I wouldn't mind Rider-Ku anyway, and that's basically confirmed because we know he has like a chariot noble phantasm, so. This is kind of what I feel like they would do. Now, because he's a male, this will probably never happen, but what I could see them doing, if they wanted to do it, is they would make like a summer version of Ku that's like based on his like canonical writer self, but isn't quite it, right? It's obviously more because of summer nonsense. So he would have his chariot noble phantasm, but it'd be summerified, if you will, right? So that's kind of I doubt they would ever just add regular Rider-Ku. I think if they ever added another regular Ku, they would probably do Berserker-Ku because so many people want it. Though I don't know, sometimes people want things and they say fuck you and we want to make this thing and they make it anyway. So who knows? Maybe they would make like Saber-Ku or whatever. I just want Hawaiian shirt Ku as a costume for Lancer Ku. That's all I want. Like, fuck, man. Do you think, chat? Because here's the thing. Type Moon, DW, all of them, they don't dislike Ku. Of course not. I mean, they've written a lot for him. He's got alternate versions, and Nasu says he likes the character a lot, and he's talked about that before. So it's not like from a character standpoint they don't have a problem with Ku. From a business standpoint, they certainly don't have a problem with Ku because he's popular as fuck. He's one of the most popular male characters for the Nasuverse. So there's no like they have no like bias against Ku. They're not like against Ku, right? In terms of like making new Kus or buffing him, which I mean clearly because you know they buffed the shit out of him for some fucking reason. Anyway. But how do I put this? So it's like, I feel like the reason, because they've said that one of the most requested skins that they've ever had is for Ku. They didn't say what, but it's obviously the Hawaiian shirt Ku. They didn't say what it was, but they said one of the most requested characters that people want to see get a costume is Ku. They've said that. So, but it's been so long, and we've had so many summer events and reruns and stuff, because like the rerun of the summer event gave Mash a costume, right? So we've had like what 11 summer events now or something. You know, it's ridiculous. It's like 10 or 11. I think it's 10. Anyway, so all these chances to do Hawaiian shirt Ku, and they've never done it. And they've done several 3-star males have gotten summer costumes, right? You know, they've done several. So they're not against doing 3-star costumes. They're not against doing male summer costumes. They do it every year now. They're not anti-Ku because he's very popular and they like him. So I think one of the reasons they have not done Hawaiian shirt Ku, and this is where I want Chad's opinion, I think this is definitely possible, is for, now they may know now, but leading up to this, I think they may not have known what to do. They're like, do we capitalize on this and try to make it like a new version of Ku? Do we try to do like a male, you know, new rate up for summer, or do we do it not during summer, or do we just make it a costume? Like, what do we do? Like, because like, I don't think they want to waste it, but, you know, but they also do want consumer goodwill. So I think they have been like unsure what, because that's the only way I can really explain why such a popular character that's liked by them and us, why, and when so many male 3-stars have already gotten, you know, summer costumes and such, why haven't we gotten Hawaiian shirt Ku, right? For God's sakes, they had a summer event set in Hawaii, right? So I'm like, I don't, how does this not happen at this point? So I kind of feel like they're not sure how they want to do it and how to capitalize on it. It's gonna happen though. I'm so confident we're gonna get it. I don't know if it's gonna be a costume or an alternate version, or if it's gonna be in summer or not summer. You know, hell. maybe they're like, well, what if we do Fate Hollow eventually? What if we do a Fate Hollow collab? Because they're, I mean, Titan Moon directly, never mind DW, Titan Moon directly has expressed their desire for Fate Hollow to get an anime. Right? So if they're hoping that that happens, or they're even working towards it happening, they might be like, oh hey, maybe we should just save Hawaiian Shirt Coup for a Fate Hollow collab. That'd be something to get people hype, and it would, right? So, you know, it could be that too. There's several things that it could be. Coup would deserve being the first male summer servant. I don't really want that though. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'm not gonna bitch if it happens, but I would just prefer a costume because, you know, how we saw Hawaiian Shirt Coup was just regular Coup, right? And so I kind of just want that, right? I kind of just want Lancer Coup with the Hawaiian shirt. And you could do both though. You could add like a male summer servant that's a rider or a saber or whatever. And then you could also add a costume for the 3-star version, right? You could do both. That would be really nice, actually. But I do agree they do need to add a male. Like, I like the costumes more than the new versions, to be honest. But I know a lot of people like the new versions, and it is kind of absurd that they've never done a male one, and they kind of need to do one. And it's kind of dumb. Like, they have a huge female player base, and there's a lot of their male player base that likes male characters. There's just no reason not to do it. So for me, Arjuna, the thing is, it's like, I just don't like joke servants as much, generally. Now, there's exceptions. They've done joke servants that are more serious and do have cool animations and stuff. But I don't really need Coup blasting somebody with a water gun. I don't really need that. I really don't, right? Even if the animations are really fancy, you know, it's not, that's not really what I want, so. I wouldn't say Summer Mordred is lame, it's just, regular Mordred is much cooler. Yeah, Coup the fishing pole. Yeah, there you go. But, you know, that's just me, though. There's nothing wrong. I know a lot of people enjoy having the silly side take and that kind of thing, so, you know, that's fine. I would in no way would I be upset if they added a summer Coup. It's just unlikely that I would like it half as much as regular Coup. There's no reason for them to be upset about fan backlash, though. Because roughly 30% of their player base is female, right? And then, again, plenty of their male, I would say well over half of the player base would be very happy to have a male summer unit. And you get diminishing, this is just a fact, this is just business. You are gonna see massive diminishing returns when you do the same thing over and over again, or when you only appeal to the same demographic. Obviously, there's a really big demographic that likes tits, okay? Like, I don't need to beat around the bush here. There's a very large demographic of people out there that like tits, okay? But that demographic is only going to spend so much money in so much period of a time. Now, it's a sizable amount, because that's a big demographic. But if you only try to appeal to that demographic, you are limiting the total amount of money you can make by quite a lot. It makes sense to, on occasion, to throw a bone to these other demographics that you're not getting any money out of from time to time. Because in the long run, you actually get more that way. And, you know, artistic integrity is a thing, too. But people always bring up this, like, I don't get it. I only see, like, players say this. I don't see it from the devs, and I don't see it from the data. People act like FGO is like 95% male dudes that are super obsessed with waifus and don't want any male characters, and they think Cersei liking Odysseus is absurd, and how dare Juliet like Romeo. That's not, there's no data that points to that at all. Like, it's actually the opposite. Sales have shown many male characters, you know, selling like hotcakes, and then like you've had, didn't Karna like blow up Twitter and shit? Like, they have so much data that points to males doing very well, and then you know, surveys have shown 30% at least of their player base are women, and then of course plenty of their male player base. Like, you know, I'm a guy and I relate to male characters a lot and stuff, and I like male characters in video games and everything. So there's just no data that shows. Now, what there is data of, is there being a minority of people that are off their fucking rockers that will bitch when they can't use Kyohime in every single floor of Setsuban. You know, these things happen. So I am sure there is a vocal, very vocal minority of people that would be mad if they added a male summer servant. But we point at those people and we laugh because that's stupid. And just because you have a vocal minority on Twitter trying to make themselves seem like a really big, impactful part of your bottom line, they generally aren't, and it is incredibly stupid and unhealthy to pander to that kind of mentality. And it's also just not fair because you have all these other people playing your game that, you know, want more male characters and whatnot. And again, there's just no data that supports it. You know, you have male characters doing... Now, sure, some male characters have done very poorly, and some female characters have done very poorly. It's not like every character is going to be popular, but there's just no data that shows that, like, male characters are a bad idea or anything. I think part of the problem, because I've seen this in other... I haven't seen it in FGO, but I've seen this from other games, where the artists and the designers just have their own bias or their own thing they want to do, and they just don't want to make the male characters. And, you know, private company and things like that, they can do what they want, that's fine. But obviously, you know, I don't agree with that, and I prefer to have, you know, the other things and whatnot. But I never, you know, if somebody, it doesn't matter if it's an indie dev or a big publisher, but like, let's say you have an indie dev, right? And they want to make X game, and I really don't like X game. That's like, it's not my style, I don't like that kind of thing. They're welcome to make it, though. It's their game. Make whatever the fuck they want, right? And, like, they have their own experience and their own goals. You know, they've got the, you know, different type of characters they want to make or whatever art style they want to use. It's, you know, it's completely up to them, right? It's not, I'm not, like, personally offended or anything. You know, this game could have all waifus and 0 male characters, and I would not be offended. I just wouldn't like it, right? And I probably wouldn't play it, right? Yeah, no, Muramasa's not the... This is the... this blows my mind. I've got to rant about this because this blows my mind. Every time they put out a Grail thing, just so many people, every single fucking time, people act like what they put out was the most Grailed servants, period. That is never what they do, and they have never done that, and I don't think they ever will do that, because the data's gonna be really skewed because of something's been in the game for so long and stuff. What they do is, what's been the most Grailed in a certain time frame. So for example, if you were gonna look at my data, if you were using the same criteria that they use when they put these things out, and you use that criteria on like just me, my most Grailed servant is Darius. This is obviously not accurate to my like total, you know, time in FGO, but if you use the criteria that they're doing, the servant that would pop up is fucking Darius, right? This is not, it's just not right, right? Because a lot of people have been playing, for example, Muramasa's been Grailed a lot in the last few months, right? But a lot of those people that have Grailed Muramasa have obviously already Grailed a bunch of other stuff. So it's not actually indicative of Muramasa necessarily being their favorite character. It's indicative of Muramasa being one of their favorite characters that have been added recently, right? It doesn't really mean anything for their total, see, I do wish just to see it. It'd be cool if they would ever show their 100%, although they may not have the data. I don't know how I don't know what kind of systems they use to track this stuff, and those systems may not have been in place since Camelot, because Camelot is when Grayling got added, or like right before Camelot actually, I think. So they might not even have that data, or they might not be able to sort through it properly, who knows. But if they had it, it'd be cool to see what is the whole server from the beginning of time, all accounts, what's the most, you know, like top 10 most Grailed servants or whatever. But it would definitely skew towards older characters, and there's basically no way for it not to. Because, so let's say someone gets into FGO right now, right? They haven't been influenced by anything. They just started playing FGO. You know, they haven't had this like build up for Muramasa hype. They don't know about Ku being, you know, a staple low star. They just start playing FGO. They're just as likely, really, for whatever their favorites to be an old unit as a new unit. Could be either one, right? But then, so that's going to be fairly equal for the most part. Now, obviously, it's going to favor certain things like popular characters like Masashi and Jolter and Gilgamesh and, you know, blah, 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 because those are just popular things no matter when they come out. But then you have the older characters where there's been all these people already in the game where those are the only things they could grail. So Ku is about as likely to be someone's favorite character now as he was then. And so someone new could certainly grail Ku. But then a lot of the old people, they had less options, so if they, you know, more people grailed him back. So it's like the total grails you're going to see on things like Hercules and Ku and Gilgamesh especially. I would be willing to bet Gilgamesh is one of the most grailed servants. The only thing that probably would maybe prevent that is the fact that he's limited. But he's been rated up many times. He is just an ungodly popular character throughout the Fate franchise. And then he's also good. He's very good. And he's been in the game since nearly day one. So I would imagine that Gilgamesh would be very high on the list. Maybe not number one, but I think he would be very high on the list. I think Jolter would be up there. I think Arash would be up there. I think Kualter. I think Ku would be up there definitely, especially for NA. I think NA would have Ku super high. But yeah, it would be fun to see what the top ones are. Yeah, Arash is a very practical thing to grail, especially if you like him, and he's a very likable guy, so that's a thing. But I don't know how many people have done it. I don't really know. Because also, people have their own people have a lot of different criteria for grailing. Some people do it purely for gameplay. Some people do it purely for character. Some people find a mix of the two. Some people like kind of doing trolly and weird things. So, you know, you're gonna get, it's gonna be weird if you could get like all the data. I wonder how many people though will save up grails and wait a bit. I wonder about that. Like I oftentimes will, even on my main account, I'll hold on to 3 or 4 grails at a time before I decide to grail something and things like that, or kind of, you know, see what's coming out later, like those kinds of things. But I wonder how many people do that versus do just, you get a grail, you use it on somebody, and whatever you like the most at that time. I wonder, because like a lot of people, you know, don't have a lot of, you know, willpower, I guess. So I wonder how that works out. I will say though, when all my time playing this game, on all my accounts, I have never regretted any of my grail decisions. I've always been happy with all of them. I've never grailed somebody, because even when I've grailed someone that's not like my favorite character ever, like 100 Face, their gameplay is so much fun and it's so unique and neat and stuff. I'm always super happy with it. And I do like 100 Face. I do like 100 Face, especially in Fate Zero. I like 100 Face in Fate Zero a lot. I don't like 100 Face so much in FGO in terms of how they're characterized. But yeah, their gameplay's awesome, and I think Fate Zero and gameplay, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's great. So I've never even remotely regretted it. Not only have I not regretted it, but I did it again on NA. So yeah. I would say the closest thing I have to regretting something, but I don't regret it. It's the closest, but I absolutely do not regret it, and it's been quite nice. And I probably wouldn't do it again, but because I've done it, I've enjoyed the benefits of it, and that's grailing Medusa. Because I do like Medusa, seriously, I'm totally fine with Medusa, totally cool character, you know, nice 3-dimensional character, blah, 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 blah. But she's not like on par with, you know, Ku or Billy the Kid or a VC Braun, Achilles. She's not on par with those kinds of things, right? And so if I could go back in time, I might not grail her again. I'm not really sure. Actually, I probably would, just because I wouldn't want to change my account, right? Like if you actually gave me the ability to go back in time and change it, I would say no, right? I wouldn't do it. But if I made a brand new account from scratch, I wouldn't necessarily grail her, right? If that makes any sense. Like if I just made an alt account, or I lost all my accounts and I had to start over, I wouldn't necessarily grail her again. But I've never regretted it, and I've actually very much enjoyed having a grailed Medusa. And mine's not grailed very much. She's only grailed to 80, which is, you know, barely anything. Her stats have hardly changed. But it's been fun. It's been fun, and it's been good for farming, and I like Medusa just fine, and it's, you know, kind of a unique pick that you don't see very often, so I've totally been alright with it. But other than that, I can't even think of one that I would even think of changing, really. The main thing is, because I have so many accounts, if I lost all my accounts for whatever reason, and I had to start over, and I just had one single account, there's so many units that I've liked on so many different accounts, I would never be able to grail all those things again, right? Because, you know, I got like Achilles and, you know, Gil on the ult with Gwaine and Proto-Ku and 100 Face, right? I can't do all of that and then grail Ku again. But, you know, what do you think? If I made a brand new account, like seriously, on my newbie account that we like to play, right? Which I should take out the title, we're not actually playing it right now. You know, I haven't actually grailed Ku much at all because I'm focusing on different things to kind of mix things up. But that's because it is an ult account, and I have other accounts. If I went down to one account and I had to start all over again, obviously, I'm not even, there's no decision to be made. No thinking about it. I am obviously grailing Ku again. First thing. The second if I made a brand new account, I wouldn't care about catching up on story, unlocking mystic codes. The number one priority on that account would be to try to get the mats that I need to get Ku to 70 as fast as possible. And then every time I acquired a grail, I would slap it on Ku. No matter what. That's overwhelmingly what I would do if I had, you know, lost all my stuff and started over. Just Ku gets to 100 ASAP every time, right? There's no buts about it. I don't know, man, it's kind of is it bad? Like, I swear, when other people get banned, they like lose their minds, and I wouldn't be happy if I got banned or lost my info or whatever. I wouldn't be happy about it, because it would hurt my ability to stream and make YouTube videos so much. It'd be a huge problem, but I would be kind of excited to just not have to keep up with so many accounts anymore, and then to kind of just, because I'm still going to apply my mindset. I'm still going to try not to trivialize bosses and everything, but kid gloves are off, man, right? You know, I gotta get my shit back. I gotta, you know, I'm gonna use what I got. I'm gonna, you know, I gotta catch up, gotta get my units, gotta, you know, do all that nonsense, but I'm still gonna, I am who I am, and I'm still not gonna use like Merlin and Waver to fight Gwaine and shit, of course not, right? So it'd be kind of, I'd be kind of excited to see if I had one account, that's all I had to worry about. And like, what am I going to save up for? What do I do with my SQ? I'll tell you this is I roll story a few times, you know, try to get a few random things, you know, catch up on my 3 stars. But once I kind of got a foothold, I would start saving, and I don't know for what. It would take a while for me to decide on what, but I would just start saving up and stockpiling, and then try to, you know, pick something. Yeah, see, I haven't put much money into this game, so I don't have that kind of worry. I'm not like, oh god, all that money I put into it, you know, it's more like, oh god, all that time I put into it. But I don't think I've wasted my time, because I've enjoyed my time with this game immensely, and I've made, you know, I love the videos I've made for it, and I like the Fate franchise. It has its ups and downs, you know, I don't, as much as I love Fate to death, man. I mean, I criticize it constantly, but it's because I'm not blind to its faults. You know, as much as I like Fate, it has a lot of stupid shit in it. Like, obviously, nothing is perfect. I like Baccano, but Baccano's not perfect either. Almost everyone breaks terms of service a little bit in FGO, and it's because their terms of service are stupid. I'm not incentivizing anyone breaking them. We here at Green Incorporated only encourage people to follow the terms of service for the product reviews. Anyway, yeah, their terms of service are dumb, and it's mostly Aniplex being stupid, so. Well, I'd like to take a quick break to have a word from our sponsors, me, and now we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. Killing Grandma again, apparently. What's messed up is when you compare the terms of service to the terms of service from DW's other game, FGOs are much dumber, which means they're either just out of date and they just haven't thought to update them, which is totally possible, by the way, or it's just Aniplex is the worst, which that I can buy, because if you look at because Aniplex publishes other games, not just DW stuff, and those other games, like that Bodica, whatever the fuck game, you know, it had a horrible terms of service as well. That was really stupid and ridiculous. So it's probably just Aniplex's copy-paste stuff. Well, I would be upset if I got banned and I didn't think I deserved it, just because no one likes to be wronged like that, or, you know, things like that. But I'm really not one to, like, I like FGO because I think FGO is a fun game. right? I don't play it for the farming. I don't. I play it for the main story, the boss fights, and the challenge quests, and buff stacking and bullshit that I do, and soloing, and you know, and so it's kind of like Ninja Gaiden Black, right? I love Ninja Gaiden Black so much from a gameplay perspective. Its story is terrible. But so I love Ninja Gaiden Black so much. If my save files for Ninja Black right now exploded, I'd be like, well, darn, that kind of sucks. I can't go fight that boss whenever I want to now. Well, get to play Ninja Gaiden Black again. And I'm going to super enjoy the experience, and I don't care. So seriously, this is, I truly just, I'd be upset, especially from a video making standpoint. That would really upset me because I have all the servants and like 1 to 3 stars and stuff leveled, and making videos is, you know, a smooth, nice experience, and I love making videos. But I'd be like, oh my god, I get to play Lost Belt 5-2 again. Like, how am I going to be upset if I get to play Lost Belt 5-2 again? But you're like, but Green Man, what if you have to play Lost Belt 5-2 again, and you don't have all your favorite servants? Joke's on you! All my favorite servants are fucking 3 stars! So, you know, it's like no big deal. Yeah, no Golden Sumo. The funny thing about losing Golden Sumo is I would kind of use that opportunity to show off how best to deal with not having it. Right? So you just make, this is another thing, you just make content out of your woes. If my account exploded, I lost the information, I got banned, whatever happens, right? You know, I lost my account, or accounts, I would make a video series, right? I'd be like, oh my god, the calamity or whatever, right? And then so yeah, and you'd use that to let people know I'm probably not going to be making a lot of 1 to 3 star setups for a while because I don't have the fucking 1 to 3 stars anymore. You know, my videos are going to be in a different state for a good while. But while dude, if I lost everything, I would have so much fun with the videos I'm making. When I get to Gwaine, I'm killing Gwaine with Ku, right? And I'll make a video out of this shit, right? Like, I make so many videos along the way, kind of showing my progress, and just to show how I play the game and how I enjoy the boss fights. And I try to intentionally not over-level things, except for Ku, and things like that. So that would make good videos, right? And I'll do Lost Belt 5-2 again, and like, how do you bounce back, right? You can make really good videos out of that. That will be fun to make and fun to watch, right? So honestly, I would just enjoy the experience, and because it's a unique situation. When you get knocked down like that, you're given a unique situation to learn or grow or make a positive out of a negative, and you always should. And as like depressing as it can be, a lot of bad things can happen to you in life, and of course you don't wish these ill things on people. But when you are in those circumstances where something very bad happens to you or the people around you or whatever. Although it's hard to get into the mindset to do it, one of the best things you can do is to try to like, if you got hit, you got hurt, you can't undo that. So you might as well try to turn something about it into a positive. That sounds so cheesy, but it's just the truth, right? If you get like, you know, punched in the face, you know, yeah, that sucks, but if you can learn from that experience, at least that's something, right? If you lose your house, that sucks, but if you can learn something good from it, that doesn't necessarily offset the bad, but at least you should always try to gain from your losses, because, I mean, what else are you gonna do? You know, just wallowing in self-pity is not gonna help. You know, it might be an understandable reaction, you know, I'm not gonna blame you for it, but, you know, it doesn't help you. You don't benefit from it, so, yeah, you know, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. By the way, you actually don't do that, because raw lemons actually taste better than lemonade, but that's different. You just eat the damn lemons, right? You just gotta be careful with your teeth is all. No, don't burn your house down. Don't do that. You don't go looking for life to knock you down, because it's gonna do that enough on its own, right? You're gonna have enough bullshit in your life to deal with as is. You do not need to make it any worse on yourself. But yeah, I mean, I've gone through some, you know, hard times in my life, and in the moment, a lot of times it's hard to kind of pull yourself up. But you gotta, you know, like, what you know, the universe ain't gonna do it for you. So, and if you can benefit from negatives and make them not so bad, and because sometimes this really does happen to people. There's a lot of people that have experienced this kind of thing, where something really bad happens to them, and it is bad, of course, but it gets them to turn their life around in a way that ultimately is better for them. Now, again, you don't go looking for those kinds of things, because it might not, you know, it's not necessarily going to be a net gain, right? But Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it is a... It's like a liberating feeling if I did lose all my accounts. Not, again, I don't want it to happen. I would never, if I wanted it to happen, I could just delete all my accounts, right? And obviously don't do that. But if I lost all my accounts, it's almost like a burden off, right? Because if I put out a video and kind of showing what happened and I've lost everything, no one's gonna bother me. Like, I mean, actually, someone would. That's the sad part is. I was gonna say, no one's gonna bother me to make, are you gonna do a 3-star setup of this thing or that thing? Are you gonna solo this thing or that thing? You know, no one would do that if I like, yeah, I lost all my stuff, I have to start over and all my guys are level 5 right now, right? No one's gonna ask, but the thing is, they would. That's what's stupid, is even if I started over and only had one account and, you know, expectations kind of reset and I kind of make a new video series and everything, there's still gonna be some idiot on my Discord like, why aren't you making a video for Achilles on an A right now or whatever? Like someone's gonna do that anyway, but you know, you can't stop that, unfortunately. Like how Edmund is at 95% right now when I didn't use Scatty's thing, it was just the refund. What's really messed up is if you use the Babylonia Mystic Code, you get the NP charge for the one turn and NP gain for the next NP. You don't even need the other Scatty half the time. So here's the thing, you gotta find a balance, because life can be frustrating and a lot of unfortunate, unfair things will happen to you, and it's important to sometimes vent and that kind of thing. But you gotta bounce back. You can't just wallow in defeat. You can, but it won't help you, right? You've gotta be responsible and, you know, take care of yourself as best as you are capable of doing, because, I mean, no one else is going to do it for you. The universe isn't going to just hand you a cup of lemonade, so... The thing is, it's easy to make jokes about Reddit and Discord and blah blah blah, and I stand by this. I have a lot of criticisms of Reddit, but it's not the users of Reddit, it's just the format of the website, right? But, and like with Discord, right? Most people that use Discord are completely sensible, reasonable human beings. They're not like, you know, freaking out and being creepy or being stupid and whatnot. Hey, Aura, thank you for the resub for 10 months, man. I'm sorry, 17 months, excuse me. Like Aura is veal or something, is that right? Something like that. Anyway, so a lot of people that use Discord, you don't notice because they say things that are pretty neutral, or they only say a thing here and there, and it just doesn't catch your eye, right? Or they don't talk at all. A lot of people use Discord, and you know they're just working, you know, they're just sitting there. You notice and remember when people spam or act like an idiot or have a bad take or whatever. You don't remember all the good takes or all the neutral takes or all the not even A takes, right? You don't remember that shit. So, I mean, the overwhelming majority of people that use Discord are completely fine, reasonable human beings. It's just, it's so easy to be exposed to the stupid shit, right? That's the thing about Discord and YouTube comments and whatnot. You know, most YouTube viewers are pretty rational and reasonable, but it's so easy for somebody to go to a video and leave some ridiculous dumbass comment, you know, and you're gonna have to see it, and so it really stands out. Where if you're kind of just doing your thing in real life, you're not being exposed to enough people. If you're walking down the sidewalk and you're wearing a t-shirt that for a basketball team or whatever the fuck, you're probably never gonna run into somebody that's just gonna start, you know, freaking out on you and saying dumb, stupid crap. You're probably never gonna deal with that. Where if you you take a picture of that t-shirt and you put it on Twitter, and you know it's exposed to millions and millions and millions of people, you are going to find thousands or at least hundreds of people that are just spewing, you know, absolute garbage out of their mouth, right? And that really stands out, and you're exposed to it, and it's like, this is absurd. But the majority of Twitter users aren't like that. You're just not, you know, you're not going to be exposed to them. Because they're not saying anything. They're just minding their own business. I saw this. There was a guy, fuck, I forgot his name. I was never big into Team Fortress 2, but I'm told this guy was like huge in Team Fortress 2 back in the day. And he stopped making videos for a long time, and then he like came back and made a video kind of talking about, you know, what it's like to be an online content creator and being exposed to YouTube comments, and like how so many people can be so rude and blah 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 blah, and like how that can be very mentally draining. But what was interesting to see was like how most of his fans in like the comments for that video were like, I had no idea you were even like receiving this kind of thing. And that's because the majority of his fans are not problems. The overwhelming majority of that guy's fans are just chill, normal human beings. Like, overwhelmingly. But the overwhelming majority of his viewers never left a comment, didn't rate, and if they looked at the comments, they looked at the top 2 comments and then, you know, left, and they leave a innocuous, oh, that was a cool comment, and that's it. They don't go back to that video in a week and see the more comments, right? Where when you're the creator, you post the video, and then you keep getting comments, you know, your viewership only sees a fraction of what that video sees, for only when they're there for that one moment. They don't continually come back. You don't only watch a video and then go back and check on it again. If you watch a video and you super like it, you don't generally go back to that video in a week and check the comments again. You don't do that, right? Most people don't. And so most of that guy's viewers that have been watching him for years and years and years were just like, wow, I had no idea that you had all these like toxic idiots in your comment section. And that's every comment section. That's the thing. It's not unique to that guy. It's not. And it's literally every comment section that has ever existed on YouTube, right? But it's what you have to remember as a creator is it's a minority. It is such a minority of people. To that guy, it looks like so often he's having to deal with these combative, toxic, naysayer shitheads, right? He's like but it's such a tiny amount of his viewership. It's almost none of it. Like even his videos that would get like a big backlash, if you look at the like to dislike ratio, it'd get way more dislikes than a typical video, but there's still way more likes than there are dislikes, right? So you have to remember these kinds of things. Like I had that moment once several years ago where I had a video get slight, like shots fired on Reddit or something, I don't remember exactly, and had slightly more dislikes than normal. But then I looked at it, I'm like, but it's still literally 97% positive likes. So it's like, how it doesn't matter, right? You realize like how the saying vocal minority isn't just a saying, it's what it is. It is a vocal minority. You will see it and be exposed to it, and it's loud, but it's such a tiny, it's nothing. It's so, some guy on Twitter doesn't like you. Oh no, right? Because like, here's the thing. Whoever you are right now listening to my stream, no matter what race you are, what gender you are, if you have a religion or you don't have a religion, if you're young, old, this country, that country, it doesn't matter what you are, somebody in the world doesn't like you. Even if they don't know you, whatever you happen to be, or even if you change to something else, like you changed your religion or your city or whatever, somebody doesn't like you. No matter what, literally no matter what you are, there are people in the world that don't like you. But normally you're not exposed to them. There's so few of these people that you're normally not exposed to them, and it doesn't mean anything to you. But when you put yourself out there on social media, like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, those people are going to find you, right? And they're going to tell you they don't like you. And a lot of people get upset by this and get depressed by this and so on and so forth. And understandably so, when you look at psychology, of course it affects them. But when you think about it, it's so irrelevant, and there's no reason to be upset by it, because those people already existed. They just happened to get a megaphone now, right? Like, nothing changed, right? They already didn't like people like you or what you do or whatever, and you were just seeing what was already there. It's not like it went away. It's not like it got bigger or smaller. It's just you saw it when you didn't see it otherwise. Hey, Lion of Iron, thank you for the Twitch sub. Excuse me, I can't speak. It's talking is hard, and I decided to be a streamer, by the way. But yeah, when you remember those kind, because you know I have those moments when you get all these like, the hardest thing for me, it's not really a big deal anymore. I've gotten pretty used to it, and if anything now, I generally turn my haters into content, and it's hilarious. So I've been doing this long enough that you know, you kind of just take the piss and you don't really care anymore. But there was a moment when it kind of creeped me out, and I kind of stand by. I think it probably should creep you out. It's a pretty normal reaction I had, but I remember when I was just starting to get, like, I wouldn't say popular. I'm a very small YouTuber, right? I have, what, 45, 50,000 subscribers? That's nothing. Like, for FGO, it's big, because FGO is a really tiny game in NA. But that's fucking nothing, right? That's a baby YouTube channel. People post a video of a cat, and they get, you know, more subscribers than 50,000, right? So that kind of puts in perspective how irrelevant I am. But when I got, like, you know, relatively, you know, known in FGO or whatever, when I started getting a little bit bigger, I got exposed, and this is what creeped me out. I got exposed to, like, people talking about you like you're not a person, right? And I've seen this happen before. I've seen other people, like, talk about streamers or big people on like Twitter or whatever, where they talk about them like they're like an object, not like they don't talk about them like they're a person that actually exists and could read that or could, right? And that it's just weird. It's just when people are talking about you like you're a thing and in such a way, because I basically I saw like haters that I have on like the Reddit Discord and stuff, and they're just talking about me like they know me when they don't, and like all the things you would say about me are just like so untrue to who I am as a person, but like they would like assume my motive or whatever, and they would just kind of talk about me like an it instead of a person. And it was just weird. Like, it was just weird. Because you don't ever think of yourself as important enough to ever even be in that situation, which I'm not important enough, but because of the internet, people just, social media. Anyway, and so that would, for a while, that really messed me up for a while, and that really, I was like, what? That really threw me for a loop, but I don't give a fuck anymore because I've been doing this long enough, and you realize how irrelevant it is, and you kind of realize the things that I just said a little while ago, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't fucking matter, and not only that, but it's actually a lot of times funny, and like I said, you can turn it into content, and it's amazing. But I try not to delve into it too much. Like, I don't use a lot of the social media stuff for FGO because I don't want to be exposed to some of that nonsense, because it's not really healthy to see it too often, but it is funny from time to time. Dude, and then you got like that's a whole different side of social media, but you get like the whole like K-pop stars can't have boyfriends and girlfriends and stuff. Like, oh my god, like the unhealthy side of that kind of stuff is just, it's a mess. I don't really get it, man. Like there are absolutely people like that make YouTube videos or stream or whatever, and I disagree with their opinion, or I disagree with the way they hold themselves or conduct themselves, but I don't really care. I never have. Why would I? I don't really get it. I don't get people that get like obsessive over hating somebody. By all means, if it comes up and someone asks your opinion about a thing, you're like, yeah, I don't really like that, they said this and that doesn't ring true to me, or I don't like this kind of content, or I don't like videos that are like loud and screechy, or whatever, whatever your that's fine. There's you have preference, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with expressing your I'm not one of those people like, oh, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. Fuck that. That's stupid. If you don't like something and you're talking about it, by all means, that's fine. Freedom of speech, blah 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 blah, and we're allowed to not like things, sticks and stones, yada yada. That's not what I'm getting. I have no problem with people expressing liking or disliking things. That's totally normal and reasonable. What I don't get is it's the step that people go beyond that. It's almost like obsession. Like, there's certain people, I'm not going to name them, but there are certain people in the FGO community that really don't like me, and they watch every single video I make, and they try to defame me every single time I make a video. And I'm like, if you don't like me, that's fine. Why? If you don't like me, though, how do you have the energy to do that? I cannot fathom, like, finding a YouTuber that I don't like, right? Like, I don't like the subject matter, I don't like their opinions, whatever, and then literally watching every single thing that they make and having to blah 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 about it. Like, I wish I had that kind of energy, but I don't know how anybody does. Now, I will say this, and I think this can be very helpful, and I do this. I actually try to expose myself, especially when it comes to like politics and science and religion or whatever. I try to expose myself to opinions I don't agree with. I do that all the time, but that's different from like not liking somebody, right? Like, so there's no harm in like listening to an opinion about like someone's interpretation of the data of a scientific paper that you don't agree with their take on it, but like seeing their logic or that's fine, right? Or hearing someone's political view that you don't agree with, it's fine. It's the easy. I've never been offended or annoyed by those things. It's easy for me to listen. I try to make sure that I follow people and stuff that I don't agree with, because it's a good way to make sure you're not in an echo chamber, and it can widen your perspective on things. So I actively try to do that, but that's really different from like watching, somebody that makes like music that you hate. For example, I don't like most mainstream pop. That's a really good example. I do not like most mainstream pop music, and as such, I don't go to YouTube and look up mainstream pop music videos and leave comments saying that they're stupid. I don't go to their Twitters and say what's I don't even know a name of a popular singer, but I don't go to X's Twitter and say they suck and they use auto-tune. Why? Right? That doesn't make any sense. This is weird, right? And if my sister asks me, hey, do you like Lady Gaga music or something, you know, I'll give my actual opinion. I'm not gonna lie or anything, and I think that's fine. But I have no reason to like go out of my way to try to like tear. I'm not trying to tear Lady Gaga down. Why would I do that? Like why would I do that? Like sure I can express why that's not the kind of music that I like and blah 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 blah. But I don't care if Lady Gaga makes a lot of money or is popular. If those people like those things, that's fine. You know, I can, you know, sure I can air my reasons for why I don't like those things. But I've never understood when people get like obsessive about like disliking something and they have to like attack people that like it or something. I don't get that. I cannot fathom it because there's no logic to it. It doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't give you anything. It seems like a giant waste of time. And it can be like, for example, if you watch a movie that's garbage, like a really bad movie, you know, it can be really fun and funny to like, you know, riff on it, right? That can be really fun. But that's really different from like listening to ear screech music and then like seeking it out, right? And then hating on it. It just seems such a bizarre use of your time. There's a lot of weird things in my chat right now. Why are we talking about VTubers? What? So I feel like I'm missing context, but the fact that those VTubers, I'm just quoting here, the fact that those VTubers, you know, there's a real person behind them, it just feels wrong and strange. Okay, I don't really get that. I don't know if you're replying to someone, like someone attacking a VTuber, and you're saying that sounds strange, but why would it? I don't like when you watch a puppet show, it's not weird that there's a puppeteer. When you watch a play, it's not weird that what's that play? Pride and Prejudice? Was Mr. Darcy? The actor for Mr. Darcy isn't actually Mr. Darcy, guys. I'm sorry to break it to you. Santa Claus isn't real, boys, and magic's not real. Those are actually like tricks, you see, which are for kids. See, I don't watch VTubers, and I don't, you know, it's not really my thing. But I've never had any hate for them. Why would I? It's just a form of entertainment. Now, I'll say this, an individual VTuber I might have a problem with if they're like trying to, this is not unique to VTubers, by the way, but if you have a VTuber that's, you know, trying to capitalize on like unhealthy people or lonely people and stuff, and they're trying to like manipulate them, that's bad, right? That's bad. But if you're just, you know, trying to be entertaining and that kind of thing, and you're not trying to set unreasonable expectations, and you're not trying to manipulate people, I don't give a fuck. It's totally fine. I don't even see the difference really between like a VTuber and watching a movie or a play. You know, it's like the VTubers, most of them, and certainly the ones that are doing it right, the proper way, you know, it's for fun, right? It's like yeah, it's entertainment. It's like putting on a character. And they generally don't try to manipulate people, and some of them do, and fuck those ones. But the idea of a VTuber is pretty normal and tame to me, right? I've always said I thought most of it is like just an issue of like quality. Like, what do you think like a radio play is? Those voice actors aren't those characters; they're just pretending, and that's fine. And it's fun, and it's just entertainment. Same thing for a VTuber. I've always said this: if the fucking voice actor for Achilles like did a stream and he was just like, you know, hamming it up and just like joking around and pretending to be like Achilles, you know, and like putting him in like, what if Achilles played Dark Souls or whatever? I can totally see the appeal of that, and that's funny, right? That's fine, right? It's not like he's actually trying to make people think he is the anime character of Achilles, right? It's just, you know, no, it's just like the voice actors for Medusa, you know, sometimes we'll say things in Medusa's voice and stuff just because, right? That's fine, that's fun. The voice actor that does Goku in, what is it, in Dragon Ball Z Abridged does that. It'll have like Goku sing songs or whatever in character and stuff, you know, and the voice actor from McCree in Overwatch fucking plays Overwatch and will say it's high noon over the mic and scare his fucking teammates and shit, right? Like, that's great. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with these things, right? It's fine. You know, putting on a voice and putting on a persona for entertainment is a very normal thing. What do you think like ventriloquism is? What do you think voice acting is? Like that's what it is. You know, VTubers are just putting it in a different, you know, it's more accessible, right? Because you don't need a production studio behind you and everything. And that's fine. I don't think it's unhealthy. I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's bizarre. I don't really partake, but it's fine. Again, if I have a problem with a VTuber, it's because of what an individual VTuber is doing. or behaving. It's not because of the medium of VTubing. That's like saying you don't like books. It's one thing to say you don't like a specific book, but it's really stupid to say you just don't like books, right? That's just silly. Like, it's just putting on a character for entertainment. How is that weird? Humanity's been doing that forever, right? Like, it's so ingrained in our psyche. Well, generally voice actors do that thing. They don't actually say they're Achilles. They just use the voice. Because you can't copyright a pitch. But, because a lot of voice actors do that, where, like, they can't officially represent the character. That's not unique to Japan. That's just industry standard, right? Like, a lot of industries won't, the voice actor can't, like, officially, like, try to represent, you know, a certain product or, you know, as the character or whatever, right? You can't do that, clearly, because there's all kinds of copyright issues there. But they're allowed to use their voice however the fuck they want. It is funny though, like for instance, Team 4 Star has been in a million lawsuits and shit and legal battles because of what they do, but I mean they've won every single fucking time. But it doesn't stop companies from what am I doing in this stage right now? Wasn't I supposed to NP a while ago? Apparently I'm like auto-attacking. Yeah, I haven't used either of Scatty's batteries right now, so I don't know what we're doing here. Anyway, we'll be fine. But yeah, like I said, that kind of thing it's pretty normal for the industry. You know, like you see it in every fucking country and every you know, we've had acting and, you know, movies and puppet shows and all that forever. So. Horrible gameplay stream runs. Yeah, no, you got these. I mean, God, imagine someone. Yeah, they need help figuring out how to farm this stage, right? And they see this stream and then they get led astray. Like, oh yeah, I shouldn't use my NP on wave 2 for some reason. That you know, community runs. Actually, I'm not even sure I'm supposed to be doing this stage anymore. I think I'm not. I don't remember doing this stage very much on the other account, so I don't think I was supposed to do this stage as many times as I've done it. And see, I didn't cast all my buffs, and so I didn't kill her there. So I don't think maybe I cast all my buffs, I don't even know. I know, this Semiramis stage is very weird. Also, I have to be, as fucked as Japan is, I have to make it very clear, Japan and Type Moon and Aniplex and you know, all these corporations, they do not have the copyright to Achilles, because that is obviously public domain and is from ancient Greece. By the way though, that does not stop companies from trying to do stupid shit like that, because they do it, and sometimes they get away with it for a long time before they get busted on it. But like, you have companies like, you know, filing copyright or putting in like automated claims on YouTube for stupid shit that you absolutely can't copyright. Dude, there are several people have even come out and said this, like they've left companies and they said what they're like, talking about what their job was. There are several large corporations hire people to specifically like file false copyright claims in places that they think they can get away with it. Right, so like it's just crazy. Like, they know that they can't legally do this, but they have people, you know, file these bullshit copyright claims and stuff because they think most people won't try to defend themselves, which is true, most people won't. And I've even seen it. There is a this happened to me a while ago. I got a copyright claim for, it was so insane. It wasn't even a video of mine that even had music on it, and the copyright claim was from some fucking Russian like music label, and it was for like a song I've never heard of in my entire life, and I had a back and forth for a while with that. That was I won, thankfully, but that's not surprising. But like, it was so fucking bizarre, dude. And I've seen that exact same claim on all kinds of videos, and they don't dispute it. I disputed it and I won, but I've seen that exact same claim from the same company on all kinds of it's only on small videos. They don't do it to big ones because they think, you know, they'll fight it and lose. But and most of the smaller YouTube channels don't dispute it, and so then that company gets the ad revenue. I know exactly. I can literally find several videos like that right now. It's absurd, man. It's so silly. But yeah, never mind YouTube. There's been all kinds of stupid fucking copyright battles across different countries and whatnot over just stupid fucking shit that you obviously can't copyright, but you know, they try to anyway. Because the thing is, even if they get away with it just for a while, they can benefit from it immensely, so they do it. Dude, that fucking FGO one is still around. I've won every counter claim I've ever done against that guy, but they don't do anything about the automated claim. It's so dumb. One of these days... okay, this is it. Let's see. Okay, let's get back on FGO. Okay, fuck everything else. We gotta, I think I want to make Billy do damage. Big fan of Billy here, so let's try to make Billy hit really hard. We need to hit hard though on turn 1. That's the thing. This isn't about long-term damage because they get that barrier thing. So okay, I think we need Bond CE Scatty. I think we want double Bond CE Scatty. Or at least one. Maybe not, because I may switch. I probably will switch. Okay, hold on. Let me make the team, and then we'll put us like a stand-in Scatty, and then we'll think about CE in a second. Okay, that's definitely not the Scatty I'm going to use, but it gets the point across. Okay. And maybe we double NP sometimes, because Billy can get 50% charge on his own, so we might do more damage if we have a second archer, but I'm not sure. Probably not, because I don't have another archer that's going to hit as hard as Billy. Although I could bring Atalante and have her buff Billy and NP herself. That is not bad. That's actually pretty damn good. That is definitely what we're doing. Okay, hold up. Either that or we try to work in Calamity Jane. Let's see. Calamity Jane does give an attack buff to herself and Billy. Then the defense down, the quick down. And then she's single target instead of AoE, but she's not upgraded. What's my MP rank on Atalante? Because Atalante gives way more of a damage up to Billy, but Calamity Jane does more damage to herself. It's probably Calamity Jane, especially because it's MP2 versus MP3 and single target versus AoE. Let's see. So Calamity Jane just needs 2 NP. She doesn't need to hit like the world's hardest or anything. Because I think her damage, like, Billy won't do as much damage this way as if I brought in another proper buffer, but I think the damage that she gets will hopefully outweigh the damage that the other buffer would have added, especially because she also buffs some. So I would think that's the case, but maybe not. Alright, we're gonna want her Bond CE. We might not want... This is gonna get weird. Okay, definitely that, and then she can go K-Scope. Actually, she can get damage, because she has her own battery, and she could potentially get one of Scatty's batteries. But she can't do something like Black Rail or anything, so she could do like that at best. Maybe not, we'll see. Because like this, all I could do is switch her in, and that's it. That would be all. That might not be good enough. That's not that great. Where if I did the other thing I do though is you just switch out and you do that, and that is a lot more damage for Billy. That's 65% more damage for Billy, but this is probably still better. What if we'd use Atalante? She's level 80, not 90, but she's got... I think Atalante makes more sense than Calamity Jane. It's close because you know, Calamity Jane's got the... No. This is better. This is definitely better. Let me see here. She does not have her own battery, though. So... Yes, she can NP2, though. She can NP2. Because you would have the other Scatty, because Billy's got his own battery again, so then you do... Okay, I think this is a... I feel like I can get more damage than this on turn 1, but we'll see. Alright, what do... I guess we want Star Bomb on the other Scatty. Or Bond CE, because then I can bring my own Star Bomb. So if someone in chat can give their scatty either Star Bomb or Bond CE, and I'll give the other. That I think is best. I can't think of anything better than that. If we had more time, you could give them the quick up on death and something like that, and then we can make a really good setup that way, but they get the damage reduction after turn 1, so... Okay, there we go, that'll work. And then I'll give mine Star Bomb. Unless... Oh, hold on. So one Sketty is going to stay, one is going to switch out. The one that stays should have the Bond CE. Okay, so we'll make this one stay. So then, yeah, I want Star Bomb. Which is probably not going to amount to anything, but it might. You know, more damage is more damage. I don't see this doing enough. It's just not enough oomph. It's hard to do this kind of thing on turn 1. The way to do it, and this is what we might have to do, is get really lucky, is you kind of need to crit. I think if we want to do the most damage in one turn with Billy, you would need to start with, you're going to get lucky and just get NP, which you're going to have that no matter what, and then get 2 quick cards. Or Buster Quick, and then crit. So you would turn 1, you know, Buster, NP, Quick, and then all crit. That's probably the most damage you could get in one turn. Because you have his 2 crit ups, you have Scatty's quick crit ups and everything. That would do really big damage, and that's probably more damage than what we're doing right now. But you'd have to reset a lot of, and stuff. And the best way would do to a Buster unit. You'd do double Merlin, and you'd bring somebody that can NP on turn 1, like Kentucky or some crap. Or if you have the right CE to NP. And then you get a Buster chain with crits. Because you could do that, especially with Kentucky. You could have Kentucky, battery himself, that kind of thing. Although with just double Merlin, that's 90%. Or you could switch in Waver. Yeah, you could switch in Waver. So yeah, you could have Black Grail, for God's sakes, or something like it. And then turn 1 NP, Buster chain crit, with Merlin's double crit up, double Buster up, double attack up, and then Waver's crit buff, all that. That would be pretty fucking crazy on turn 1. I'm not sure it would be enough to do the damage we need to do here, but... So, the fight doesn't... As far as I'm aware, this fight doesn't... Okay, we're gonna do 2 things. I think what we need to do to actually do the 3 million is consistently do damage, instead of doing as much damage in one spot. But we're gonna do as much damage as we can in one spot just to see. But they don't gain so much damage resistance that you can't continue to do damage to them. So we're gonna want some kind of loopy repeat NP setup. So whatever team we end up using is probably gonna be very different from this. But I wanna try this and just see what happens. Just, you know, see what damage we have. There's no way this is gonna do 3 million. But, what event servants do we have? Because that's another way to do way more damage. It's the same as Shame Scath is a answer here, because you have Divinity, and she's got an event bonus. So she could fucking... Ooh, boy, you could do damage with this. It looks like her bonus is probably pretty small, only 30%. But yeah, you could do a Buster crit thing with her here. That'd be pretty wild. So Archer-wise, the only bonus Archer I have is Nobukatsu. That's not going to do very well for doing 3 million damage in a turn or 2. I guess Jerker would be alright, though, because she's Buster, she has battery, she has 30%. Honestly, that Jerker might be the one I could do the most damage with. Just because Buster getting a Brave Chain here and then crits, which you can do with Star Bomb CEs, that's just nuts. Like, that is so much damage. Nobukatsu DPS, yeah, one of these days. I will do that someday. I will. Just like we did Hans, we'll do Nobukatsu at some point. Oh, is this not the big one? I think this is the big one, though. No, the big one has the cutscene. It has the cutscene. With, like, Nev trying to hit the twins and they dodge and blah, 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 blah. This is, like, whatever the fuck then. Well, someone's about to get shot in the face by Billy really hard, though. These are not worthy. These are not fucking worthy. They got 14,000 life. I don't think we need to fire the NP for this one, not gonna lie. Although we might as well. We literally might as well because we have so much battery. I wonder if the buff is random in the story bits or if the story buffs are set. Because if they're set, I hope they give us quick up. But if they're random, then who knows what we're gonna get. I don't know, man. They look kind of scary, yeah. I do like the design, though. One of the better trash mobs. Fucking hit me in the face with a pole, dude. But yeah, Tight Moon and all that could say that you know, you couldn't represent the Tight Moon version of Achilles, right? But they can't say, you can't just say your name's Achilles. Because first off, you can literally name yourself Achilles, right? That you can't copyright the name Achilles. It doesn't work that way. And you can't copyright the voice actor using a certain pitch. Now, he can't act like, he cannot act like, even outside of Japan, he cannot act like he's representing, you know, Tight Moon or Aniplex or anything like that, and then like that specific version of Achilles, right? You know, that he can't do, but he can use whatever fucking voice he wants, and he can say his name is Achilles because Achilles, again, is a public domain, you know, actual life legend from ancient Greece. Now, what they can do, though, is, and this kind of thing you see all the time, especially in Asia. This is somewhere where Asia is just like with, you know, you have these, you know, Korean idols and stuff that get destroyed when, you know, they have a boyfriend or something. You know, it's this absurd nonsense like that. But, you know, they could just not work with you anymore if they didn't like the way you were conducting yourself or, you know, using your voice talents and stuff. They could just not work with you anymore, and that can be a really big problem for people. And that happens all the time in every country. I mean, there are people named Achilles today. That is a thing. It's not common by any means, but that's because it's so, the name is so famous that, you know, there's plenty of famous names that, you know, still like, being named Alexander is, you know, considered normal. It's kind of funny how that is, though, because there's no reason for it, really. It's just kind of the way, like, the social standards build up and what people are used to and everything. But yeah, it's like, it's totally okay to be named Alexander, but people would think it's weird if you were named, you know, Achilles or Hercules or something. It's, you know, we're silly like that. Although you give it another 100, 200 years and it'll probably go away. And, you know, time has a tendency of doing those kinds of things. Like the voice actress for Medusa, you know, she has Medusa's portrait on her stream and stuff like that. And, you know, Tight Moon don't give a fuck. I'm actually surprised she's one of the few voice actors, and never mind Japan, I mean, you know, America, anywhere else, it's in Canada, a lot of voice actors in Canada too, but anyway, I'm surprised that she's one of the few that does just like stream and, you know, have like an online personality and stuff, because a lot of them don't. But, you know, it's that kind of environment is absolutely not for everyone. A lot of people do not have the mindset or temperament or even understanding of it or desire to be a part of any of that. But I'm surprised that there's not more. There are, of course, there are more. There are several, but there's not that many. Well, I know Robin Williams named her Zelda because of the games. I have no idea if Zelda has ever really been used as a name before that game. I'm not aware of it if it ever was, but it might have been, wouldn't surprise me. That name, though, gets away with it a lot better because it sounds more normal, and The Legend of Zelda is popular, but I guess it's more popular now. It's probably weirder now than it was back then. It wasn't so known back then because gaming wasn't as big back then that most people wouldn't even... Like, oh, that's a neat name. They're not gonna... A lot of people wouldn't even think it was from a video game. But that's probably different nowadays. Video games are so much bigger now. It's been weird watching now. Okay, so now I'm gonna go with Zaz because, better skin. Okay, back Scatty needs to stay, middle Scatty needs to go. Alright, how much damage can we do on turn 1? Certainly not 3 million, but like the only hope we have of doing 3 million in one turn would be like a Buster Brave Chain with an NP and crits. That's like the only thing I can think of. I'm not sure we could actually accomplish that with this account though. We do have double Merlin though. We might give it a try just to see what happens. But if we want to do this, we'll probably have to try to do repeat damage, I feel. Because they do gain damage resistance every turn, but I don't think they gain so much that you couldn't necessarily... I don't know though, after turn 2 or 3, their damage resistance might just be too high, so I don't know. This is certainly possible, but I don't know if it's possible for my account. I'm not sure. Although I guess you could always use command spells and NP every fucking turn. That would probably get the job done. Wait, do I not have Black Rail on? Fuck. Wait, oh, the gimmick gives you battery. Okay, wow, that's gonna make this really odd. That definitely incentivizes not doing what I'm doing though, and just like repeat NPing on the same unit and stuff. Because basically I'm gonna switch Scatty out and she's never gonna use her battery, and that's not good. This is a terrible opening hand. Oh my god, they are setting you up to want to do 3 million damage. They give you stars. They give you fucking stars. We don't even need the star bomb. They give you stars. So you just need to get lucky on your hand, and you can do a Buster Brave Chain with crits like super easy. Oh my god, we need to do a Buster setup. I wish I had Kentoki. Kentoki would be so much fun. Dude, Kentoki would be so much fun here. And he got buffed, right? They buffed him. Oh my god, I wish I had fucking Kentoki on this account. Yeah, there's also Orion. Yeah, Orion is definitely one. Orion could definitely do it. 3 million damage on Orion is not that big of a deal. Especially when they give you stars and battery. Okay, we'll mess around with a few things here. I didn't realize that they gave you that much oomph. Alright, well, we'll see what we do here. But yeah, we are not capital. I hate that Billy got no cards. They gave us stars, and they gave us no Billy cards. I'm very annoyed with that. The music knows. Okay, well... Might as well have her crit. Don't need these stars, but why not? Get the crit buff. I'm gonna slow-mo in case there's some weird thing here where the stage ends early. If you do a certain amount of damage, they do crap like that sometimes. Alright. I should have done the Buster. The Buster would have done more. Yeah, they buffed her first skill, which was quite nice. She was pretty good before that, though, so she's looking quite nice these days. I would still like them to buff her NP, just because then she'd be such a unit. It's only 200k. You could probably get more buffs to get Billy to do more than 200k. That's not that big. Alright. Man, God, I wish I had Kentoki. I love Kentoki's animations, and this would be such a fun time to mess around with that. Alright, well, Billy doing 1.2 million, so we did like 1.4. But yeah, I think you could buff Billy to do more than 1.4, so not sure Atalante was quite worth it there. Not bad, though. I do want to see how much damage resist they get per turn. So, I guess we'll use Jerker. We'll do Jerker, double Merlin, maybe Waver or something? Let me think. Or Qingong. No, Qingong. Oh yeah, absolutely Qingong. So we'll do that. Maybe Poster Girl on someone in case we want to do a repeat thing. But then we just pretty much need to reset until Jerker gets... Is she triple Buster? I think she's triple Buster. Yeah. So we need 2 Buster cards. Alright, before we reset though, let me just look at the third damage resist. Because they gain a stack of it every turn. I'm hoping it's not that big, but it might be. Come on, Billy, get lucky. There you go. So, I'm not sure, it's hard to say. We had a lot of buffs there, so I did less damage than I was expecting, but I'm not really sure how big that damage is. It's clearly not so big, though, that you can't, you know, continue. You absolutely can. This is the only fun stage in this event so far, by the way. Okay, it's Jerker time. You could do this with Billy, though. I think you could do it with Billy. You would not bring Atalante. You'd repeat NP with him. You'd use the switch on like Waver for the next NP. You could actually do it pretty easy, I think, because you get that because of that 50% starting NP they give you. If you just had double Scatty out, you know, go boom, and then battery, go boom again, then bring in Waver, go boom again. that would do the trick, I think. But before we do that, let's use Jerker and see what happens. So what do we need on Merlin? I think we need either Ox King or Bond CE. So like if Maniac, if you got one of those, that would be good. I'm pretty sure that's what we want because they give you 50 stars, so we don't need Star Bomb, surprisingly. Yeah, I think it's Bond CE or Ox King. I can't think of anything else. Here, I'll summon this real quick though, just so I can kind of figure the team out. I'll give Jerker. I should give her crit command codes. That'll add up here. Where is Jerker? What the hell? I haven't used her in forever. I don't remember where she is. There she is not. What the fucking... The mouse got like stuck and it was like moving my screen when it shouldn't have been. I wasn't actually clicking. There it is. Okay. I don't know what we give her. It depends on how much crit damage we get. We might want something that boosts the crits as well. We'll see. So I'll go nothing on CE here. So we're obviously going to want our Merlin. And I do not have Merlin's Bond CE, so Ox King for us. My Merlin is like the minimum level to have all three of his skills. Where is he? There he is. Okay. That's skill rank, by the way. You can tell what I use him for. Okay, now we need Ox King. I guess Qingong, unless I'm forgetting something, I'm pretty sure Qingong is the way to go because she's a Berserker. I can't think of anybody else that's going to match that. The only other thing is Waver, because Waver could come in with K-Scope and do defense down as well. But I don't think that's worth it because we're trying to get 2 big crits, and again, we're not, for the longevity and like doing the damage in the long run, you might want to do Waver because it's another NP. But we're trying to do as much damage in one spot as possible, so I don't think we do. What do we give? Man, I guess I do need his Bond, because I could do that. Or if I had Qingong's Bond CE, I think that'd be good too. But I don't think I have anything for Qin. I don't have a second Ox King. What a shame. Dude, esports Bin K is legit. Like level 25 Bin K, second skill at 1, first skill at 10. I have that, and it's actually good. Occasionally, not often, but there are times that it's good. I don't think I can give him any CE that's gonna help, unfortunately. I can make more stars, but like, who cares? I could yeet Merlin. I could have him show up and yeet Merlin, but we're not going for the consecutive turns. We're going for the... Like, if I was going for consecutive turns, I'd give him K-Scope, and then I'd put in Waver, and so turn 2, Merlin is gone, and you bring in Waver, right? But, we're not going for that, so I don't think I have anything for him. That sucks. That's a waste of damage, man. I really should work. Let me look. What is Qingong's Bond CE? I think it's Buster and Crit. So I accidentally just typed in Qin Buster and it brought up Qingong, so feels good. Bond CE. His is increased Buster performance, accept himself by 20%, so it's more than normal. That's really good. That is, I should start working on that, actually. I feel dumb that I haven't been working on that, because that's huge, dude. That means he would give a Berserker 70% Buster up, and then fucking 100% crit damage. That's crazy, dude. That's so big. Yeah, I need to do that. Okay, I guess we just bring this, unfortunately. This is all we're gonna use, I think. So we need CE for other Merlin and then CE for Jerker. Perfect. So let me think. It's the 2 crits versus her NP, right? So this adds I'm kind of leaning towards this one because it has an attack stat of 2,400 on it, which ain't half bad for the crits anyway. Even though the other option would be something like this, because this is 30% damage for the NP and 30% damage for the crits and 1,500 damage. There's also the Yang CE, which is better, but I don't have it limit broken over here, so it's not worth it. It's also not level 100 yet. But eventually it would be the Yang. Level 100 Yang CE would be the best, like for sure, if I had it. But I don't have a level 100 Yang CE. Because not only is it, you know, so much fucking damage, but it also enables you to use the 30% crit command code instead of the 25% one. So, or the 30 with the 25%. So Yang CE wins hands down if you have it at 100, but I don't. So I think it is this or this. I'm gonna try this because we're putting so much into the crits. I'm gonna try this one, but we might try both depending on like where we go with damage here. Because this having 2,400 attack, that's pretty nice. Okay, let me go give her some basic command codes. I don't care about the other cards. We're not going for longevity. We're going for just Buster Go Burr. Itchin Gongs is better than Ox King. Well, it can be. It's not always. Because the thing about Ox King is it stays without the unit. And there's a lot of times when you're buff stacking, you switch out one of the units. And if they had Ox King, it stays, right? So let's say Nightingale buffs someone and she had Ox King, and they use the Switch Mystico to get rid of Nightingale. Or you have Poster Girl on Nightingale and she dies. Or you Chin Gong Nightingale. That Ox King lingers, right? If you had like Chin Gong's Bond CE, or if you had Merlin's Bond CE or Scatty's Bond CE and they die or they get switched, you lose it. The effect is gone. So Ox King is very unique in what it does, and so because of that, it's always got a place in this kind of thing. Oh yeah, the Nobu one. Good call, Zaw. That's got that 30% crit one. And then we got, there's some 20% flat damage ones, and then the 25% Ishtar one for Buster card. Let's see here. Please tell me I have unlocked her card slots. I might not have, to be honest. If I haven't, I'm gonna have to use respec items, which is not a big deal. I have a million of them, but I don't like having to click the screen that many times. I'm gonna have to click the screen that many times. Okay, god damn it, game. There probably are new keys from this event, but you need 3 busters, so I'm gonna have to... I guess we can take 2 from Suzuka. We don't use her, like, a lot. I'm sure I'll use her in the future, but for now, no big deal. This is why it's nice when you have all the cards unlocked for all your standard units, because you don't have to deal with this. But Jerker is not one of my standard units. I need one more. I should have done Beowulf. I like Beowulf a lot, but it's just because it would have been easy to keep track of, because he has 3 Buster cards. Just switching them back and forth would have been fine. Don't tell Ari. It's only temporary, and it's because I'll actually remember it. I actually do use Shiki sometimes. But yeah, nobody tell Harry. Hey, I got my Shiki to 10-10-10 though, right? Like I finally did that. I'm actually really glad I did. It's been nice. I've enjoyed that. Alright, where the hell is... I always look for Jolter, but it's not Jolter, it's Jerker. We have different art. Gain his account. I don't have a name for my main account, it's just the main account. If it's anything, it's the coup account though. I mean, literally I have like the strongest coup you can possibly have. Oh yeah, surely some of these are equipped to other people. Which one is the Noob? I think it's that one. That's the 30% crit one. But surely I've got the Ishtar one on somebody else. Who did I use yesterday? That's what it's on. Who the fuck did I use yesterday? I put it on somebody. It was, oh, it's Boudica. It's Boudica. Now someone's gonna say it in chat, but it's Boudica. I remember that now. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we had Boudica hit for 600,000 with our Buster card with no event bonus or event CE or anything. That was awesome. And she's level 70 too. Can you, oh my god, can you imagine if she was grailed and stuff, how hard that would have hit? Alright, let's see. So there's 20% damage CEs we could use. There's several. There's that one. There's a 20% crit one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's the Art Divine. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that would be... I think the Enkidu one is going to be tied with anything else. I don't think we can get over 20%. Unless I'm forgetting some kind of niche one. I don't think this is only even if they are lawful good, which I don't think they are, but that would only be 20%. So yeah, I think this is the best we're gonna get. Oh, you're right. Good call, Maniac. That's right. She does apply burn on her own. You don't even need a... Oh my god. Dude, she really... It would be... Oh my god. Yang CE on her. Holy shit. Because you can be... You don't have to bring a burn command code for the burst, right? And oh my god. She would 100% would do the most damage here with the Yang CE at 100. That's why I'm saving up for it. I'm going to make sure I get it when it comes back. I'm making CE bombs for it now so I can make it 100 as soon as... Because I have it, but I only have one copy of it. So I'm gonna have to get it to 100 next time. And hey, maybe I get Brunhilder out of it or something, so... Or hell, maybe they'd be really nice and add 5-star Hans. How about that? They're not gonna do that, by the way. I just clicked the wrong button, goddammit. I do think they might add 5-star Hans someday. I just don't think they're gonna do it on the rerun of that event. That would be too easy. Alright, so we got 30, 30, 25. That's pretty good. So sadly now we have to reset until we get a double buster for her in the first hand, which is going to be really obnoxious. So basically what I'm saying is we're about to give Maniac a bunch of FP. Because he gets FP even if we don't complete the stage. So, God, if only we had Shin-Gong's Bond CE or another Ox King, dude. That's a nice extra chunk of oomph. What a shame, dude. Also... Dude, between that and if we had the Yang CE at 100, we'd have a higher attack stat, we'd have a bigger damage mod, and a better damage from our command codes, and then an extra 20% from Chen Gong. All those things combined is a very sizable amount of damage, right? Because like the higher attack stat's a chunk of damage, the better command codes is a higher chunk of damage, the more effect on the Yang CE is a chunk of damage, and then the real chunk of damage from Chen Gong's Bond CE, that's a lot. That's a big fucking bonk right there. So we would probably do more damage in one place if we used Poster Girl on somebody and then added in another buffer. That's probably more damage than what their damage resist is. So you'd want the 2 Buster cards in the second hand and you Poster Girl someone that like Nightingale or whatever that'll die. But they always buff on their first hand and everything, and it's also more fun if you can do it on turn 1, so. Yeah, double Ox King would have been nice for sure. I could have done it on NA, I just didn't have the will. I don't play NA enough to care, so... So I don't need 3 Buster cards, I just need 2. They got our 1 NP. Although, funnily enough, we might do more damage with a triple Buster turn than with the NP, but... we'll see. It's gonna be fun to compare, actually. The first Buster card would be the weakest one, though, so if... Oh, well, how about that? That was easy, and that's the 2 best command codes. That's literally, what we need. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, I think Shin-Gong gives us enough, right? I forgot, she doesn't have a battery. Oh my god, it's random. The buffs are random. The fucking buffs are random. I thought they were, they're, oh my god, they're fucking random. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so we have to Star Bomb, because there's no way we're gonna reliably, like, you realize how much variance it is if I have to reset until we get what we got with Billy, but you also get 2 Buster cards? That variance is insane. That would take so long. I mean, the damage would be incredible, but that would take forever. All right, let's see what happens here, though. We'll try to get as much damage as we can. But we have no crits, unfortunately, which that kind of kills our damage. We're gonna have to Star Bomb then. Because, yeah, that's just way too unreliable. We'll try to at least get Buster up or something. I guess it doesn't matter which one I switch. Actually, I should have done that on the other Merlin and switched them because of the way the cooldowns are, but it doesn't matter. We're not sticking around for a long time. God, all these crit buffs and we can't crit. And I could have given him Star Bomb. I gave him no CE, and I could have just given him a Star Bomb. Oh, the horror, dude. You know, Mori might do better than her, actually, even though she's a bonus servant. I actually do think Mori's gonna do better than her. Because he needs less stars because he has Star Absorb, and he has his own massive crit buff, and he's level 100. Her 20% thing I don't think makes up for everything that Mori has. The problem with Mori is he doesn't have a triple buster deck, which is fine for when you use him in a practical setting, because you want an art crit to get his NP. But this isn't a practical setting, and we don't care about that, so... I guess I'll use a command spell here just for shits and giggles. Or do we? I mean, this is kind of... We probably should just reset. We're not going to do anything impressive here. So, I think we just do 2 buster cards and just see what it does. But, yeah, we're going to have to... get, the guarded, of course. But we're going to have to bring some Star Bomb. Nice of them to give me the NP right there, though. Why does the buff have to be random, dude? The one that we got was so good because it gave us stars and 50% starting NP. It's insane. Okay. We gotta change some things. I'm so salty that... I guess we use Golden Sumo to just be reliable, but like we're lowering our peak damage by so much. But I don't want to be here for 3 hours until everything lines up. Wait, I think you still go Ox King, Maniac. I think because or Bond CE because I can do double star bomb myself. I think. Hold on. I guess it doesn't matter because hold on. Let me think about this. Because I have several star bombs myself. Let me look at Merlin's Bond CE. I think it's just 15%. No, it's only 10% actually. But then it does get 15% crit, which is actually nice here. Okay, if you've got Merlin's Bond CE, do that. If you don't, do Ox King. I think. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. No, okay. Just... If you have Merlin's Bond CE, do that. If you don't, just stick with what you got because I'll use my Ox King and it doesn't matter, right? So, yeah, basically, Maniac, do you have Merlin's Bond CE or not? Bond CE up. Okay, you do have it. Feels good. So I guess, yeah, I have to use Golden Sumo. That's, kind of shite. Well, I swear, if it gives me, I swear to God, if it gives me the other thing and I get the 2 buster cards again, because it's not, I'm sure it's not rare to get the buff that gives you the starting NP and the stars, but it would be rare to get that and get 2 buster cards. Why is Maniac gone? Reduced to ashes. There we go. Alright, so I need to switch out my Merlin, not Maniac's. So we only gonna have 40 stars like this. I could obviously bring another bomb and then oh right, I can't bring Ox King. So yeah, I gotta bring at least 2 star bombs. Like it doesn't matter which one I use. It's literally whichever one I see first. Which I'm not seeing any of them because there we go. It's one right there. Alright. Man, this is so much less damage than what like you could potentially do if you had every little thing. A huge damage difference, but it'll still be a lot. Yeah, I don't have the Juno CE high enough. Like if Arjuna was level 100, it would definitely be better, but it's like level, like, I don't even know, it's like level 10 or 20 or something. I'm not about to level it the hell up. But yeah, because it's got a pretty nice damage mod on it and the starting NP, so it would be very good. And we'll check our damage while we're here real quick, but we don't have the second buster card, so. Huge damage drop on that one, sadly. What a trustworthy guy. I think they gave us Buster Up and Evade. That's at least something. Who doesn't love 90% crits? Dude, with more min-maxing, you could totally... Especially with like in Tokyo or something, you could totally do this. I might switch to Mori though, just because one, I like Mori, and it'd be fun to see what he gets here. It's just... Mori doesn't have a triple buster deck, so it'd be a bit more annoying. Woo! Yep, if you have a second buster crit in there, that's going to be I'm telling you, I don't think, I'm not sure mine can do it, but I think it is possible. If you had Shingon's Bond CE, and like she was grailed and everything, I'm pretty sure you could do it, because we're pretty far away from even min-maxing this setup. And with that extra stuff, and the Yang CE and all that, and you happen to get the I definitely think you could do it. Alright, let's see if we can do better than that though. We'll try to at least get the 2 busters. Do we use Mori though? It's so much harder. Like you have to specifically get those 2 cards, right? That's pretty nasty. I think we'll stick with Jerker for now. I do think it's less damage, but I think we'll be able to do it without losing our sanity, I would hope. No, Archinobu would do alright. She could certainly do big damage, but I don't think she's going to out-damage like Jerker here or Mori and that kind of thing. But she would definitely do good. Is she an event servant? If she's a big event servant, then she could definitely get some juice. But she is AoE, and a lot of other people have those kind of crits up too. Well, I could wait a turn, then they'll have damage resist. I'll do that though, because we're so likely to get crits next turn. But we did not get a Buster Up or an NP Up or anything like that, and we got no Jerker cards, and we lose one of our Star Bombs. So. How many stars can Merlin make? Wow, not bad. Not as good as the Star Bomb CE, but it's close. 2 off. This voice line. I can't even imagine the voice acting session for that. That's ridiculous, dude. Wow. Her other 2 Buster cards are in the last hand, so it's not any better than last time. Yeah, to really min-max here with this account, you'd have to play for a while to get lucky. So after we mess around a little bit, we'll probably just smash it with something we know that works and move on. Oh, fuck, I do need to wrap up the stream soon because I've been streaming for almost 4 hours and I'm supposed to do something tonight. And tonight is the only night that I can do it. So, oops, we might get this double buster and then continue this tomorrow, excuse me. I did not realize it was this late. I'm a great friend, by the way. No problems here. Why couldn't you? Well, at least we can see what the 1 card will do with the Buster Brave Chain. But yeah, no, we didn't get it. See now, why does she have 3 katanas though? Like, what the fuck is she gonna use 3 katanas for? Toro. She is definitely a Weeb Lord. I almost want to bring 3 star bombs just because the RNG, but that's so much damage going out the window if we did that. That's one reason though to use Mori, is because Mori has the star absorb, so 40 stars will work for him. Oh yeah, she has her own battery, so we are going over a little bit. Well, at least we can bust her chain. So the third card will, if it crits, will do a lot of damage, but it's so much less damage if we got our other card. And we don't get the extra attack either. Actually pretty cool NP though. Edgy as all hell, but not too bad. Jesus Christ, dude! If it's so sad that we can't do all the little things to min-max this, because I'm so curious what kind of damage you could get. I wonder if when they rerun this next year, if I can have had Shin-Gong's Bond CE. Because I'll have the Yang CE by then, and hopefully at 100. So all that's really in my way would be one Grayling Jerker, which I don't want to do that, but getting the, Bond CE would really boost things up a bit. There also is the RNG. Hi, Fino! That is not a great time to raid, unfortunately, because I'm about to wrap up, but I do really appreciate the raid, dude. We'll try to do one more. Chat, because I gotta wrap up soon, do we want to do Billy again, or do we want to keep with the Buster bullshit? Because we don't have time to go forever here. What do you want? Quick or Buster? That's what it boils down to. Orion, you want Orion? Orion is going to be a lot harder for me to show off because I don't have Orion. So we'll lose a Merlin, which is a huge damage drop. That's a massive damage drop, but I'll try it because people want Orion. But yeah, if I had my own Orion, we could do something really disgusting. Like, I mean, Jerker, can do it, but we're trying to just do as much damage in one spot as possible. And Billy is probably the easiest way for my account, or Mori, probably Mori, but God, the RNG on that is obnoxious. All right, we'll get Lost's Orion in here. I think he's waiting. Lost, do you have a different CE blah 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 combo you want to go with? Because if so, I'll set the team up and then I'll summon you again. Actually, I'll go ahead and add you to the team, but then if you do want to min-max some stuff. Alright, well, we lose a Merlin this way, so that changes things a bit. But we can use Waver, which is good because we get battery and he has a crit buff and blah 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 blah. Let me see. We probably use... I'm trying to think if we use K-Scope on Waver to just use his NP for the big defense down, or if we try to turn 1 go Blammo. What CE? I don't know. If he was... maybe... I'm trying to think, because we can't reliably get the gimmick, right? We can't reliably get the battery. So maybe we do need starting NP. Because you have a Yang CE, but he doesn't have an inherent burn. And so we'd have to mess up the command codes a bit, and then they could guard it, and then we might not have our NP. I think we want starting NP and as much damage as possible. I actually think I will put Poster Girl on a buffer then. I think we're going to go Boom on turn 2, most likely. So we need somebody that can die. The thing is, oh my god, Poster Girl won't work because their turn 1, they do nothing. They like buff a lot normally, so I don't think I'll have time to do that. By the time you get that going, they'll have so much damage resist up that it won't really do so good. At least we have Chin Gong, that helps. It's not as good as your Double Merlin and Chin Gong, but this does make it less bad. Let's see, I guess we want... This is tricky. There's almost no way to do this in a short amount of time because I can't really get the stars, that's the problem. I think we need Waver to start, then... I can do triple Star Bomb, but that's unnecessary because he's got his own Star Bomb. We'll do Ox King. I really want to get one more buffer in here, but I almost want to use Hans just to try to get a second NP. That would be pretty good. All right, thanks, Lost. Let me see what we got here. Okay. So I might as well put Hans on the team in case we do. I think we go to maybe we Chin Gong somebody, because this setup is just not gonna. The odds of you getting what you need to do a lot of damage on turn 1 are just so low, and we're on a time limit, so if we want to do anything too disgusting, we can do it tomorrow. But I mean, if we get lucky, this can do well. This is going to be really hard to get reliable damage out of. I almost want to do Anniversary instead of Switch, because we're not a Berserker, so Chin's less good. What about Nightingale? She's the same. They're both 50, but Nightingale's lasts longer, so Nightingale's better. It's a sad man's Merlin, but it's still something. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I think if we have more time, we might have Chin Gong yeet somebody. I think that'll work pretty well. But I don't have time to do all that. But yeah, I think we'll do something like that, then switch. The hard part is just, you gotta get Orion's NP up and blah blah blah, and then get cards. So we're kind of at the mercy of how the deck shuffles. That is not the buff we would have liked, but at least we get NP gain, I suppose. Okay, we can do double buster on turn 1. That's a good opening hand, but it's actually bad though, because the follow-up turn we have like no cards left. So it's goodish bad. I want to crit again next turn if we can, because maybe I save. But I kind of want to save his Star Bomb. Let me think. Yeah, we can definitely get more than this. Love how his name is Super Orion, by the way. It's just great. You're making the stars right now is really pointless because you got the crit, but it's a 20% attack up. Well, we're definitely doing this. What do you think, chat? Do we just do as much damage as we can this turn, or do we try to... I guess we do as much damage as we can this turn. But I mean, man, we could do that art card with guaranteed crit and Merlin command code. We could go around the wheel real easy. And get the 10% off waiver, but I guess we just do the damage here. But my stars, though, it's 20% attack up for 20 stars that do nothing. Alright, fine, yeah, we'll go boom now. In the long run, this is probably wrong, but what a man. Alright, let's see what we get. You can totally get a turn, though, where you could break here, no problem. Chin Gong is really good, though, because if you get all your cards on turn 1, killing someone and shuffling the deck is actually super helpful. Because he only has 2 cards left in the deck. Jesus Christ, dude. That's without the first card buster bonus. That's so disgusting. God, yeah, if you min-max that, you can break this no problem, dude. Because this is so far away from being min-max and we don't have double Merlins, so... That is disgusting. We need Poster Girl, though. We need somebody to die. Or Chin Gong. Chin Gong would definitely be the way. Well... Even though we lose the first card bonus, maybe we do waivers in P to just get the defense down. The first card buster bonus is actually bigger than that bonus, though. But being in 3rd place. Also getting some NP is fine. 80% please. See, this is where I could have used my second skill, make those 20 stars, and then guarantee the crit, you see? Yeah, here we go again. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Man, if we get a little lucky here. There are way better ways about doing this, but yeah, this turn sucks. This turn fucking sucks right here. Go get him, Waver. Or do we do the art chain? Just maybe we get another NP in here. We fall off so hard right now though because we didn't have a setup to like keep the NPs going. If only Noob was attacking Orion, we'd be fine because she gives so much NP. Damn, we can do so much better than this. And then the deck shuffles like that. That sucks. Yeah, we could have done so much more damage than that. Yeah, we need Qingong. We gotta escalate things a little bit. Yeah, I'll zeet the app. I'll save it for tomorrow. Oh yeah, he fucking taunts. Bastard. Okay. Man, that is so disappointing. We were so, could have done so much more damage than that. Well, I don't, well... yeah, I can't do anything because of the taunt. I mean, we can still win, it's just that's not the problem. It's not a... I want more damage than that. But alright, we'll do this tomorrow. I gotta do some stuff in real life. More time has passed than I had realized. And there's a lot of other people I want to test here, so... It's a shame that this is the only stage that's, like, fun for messing around. Everything else in this event is a fucking snores fest. But, alright, thank you for hanging out, everybody. That was a good time. We'll do more damage shenanigans in the future. Shame that they're not, like, a berserker or something, because then we could use more units and whatnot. Alright, we gotta raid... Oh, we'll raid Cairo. Cairo's playing FGO right now. Hell yeah. Perfect. Pass the raid along. Yeah, that was... not the best. Oh, hey, Cairo's doing the King Potato Chip side quest thing. He's fighting the Shadow Servants right now. So, that's a good time. Alright, boys, go get him. Otherwise, hell, he might wrap up soon, too, because I know he's been streaming for a while as well, so I'll just be passing people around. Anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Later.